Is it though? Is it still the same? Very well.
It is.
Friends, welcome to Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum Iron Archipelago episode 5. We got it out there. Didn't say Rogue Trader. Didn't let myself get interrupted. No memeing in chat. We're here. We're here, and we have a game to play. Let me say this. The first thing we see is the Rogue Trader, Chaderius Darkwind. He is standing impressively in the middle of an empty room, looking out towards what would be an open window were it not covered to prevent him from seeing directly into the warp. He has on a very fancy fascist black cap with a sharp bill covered in medals on the top, an enormous Starship Troopers style trench coat from psionic intelligence covered in medals all up and down it. He's got his hands behind his back, feet planted in a power stance as he stares out in what could be a window but currently isn't, thinking about the way things are or could be when someone walks in behind him and says, "Excuse me, Lord Rogue Trader. I've spoken with the navigator, Lady Teresia. It seems that we have finally left the light of the Astronomicon. It's going to be a rough journey from here on out, as it always is, but she wishes to pass along that several of her assistants have already been dropped into exhaustion. And more importantly, that straightforward, it has been a rough journey. And that is with the light to guide us." The Rogue Trader adjusts his cap and says, "We're 2 days in. This is nothing new. Whether it's been 10 days or 10 weeks in real time, we have a schedule to keep, and I expect that we will keep it. If we arrive late, we will simply make up for it with violence of action. Prepare a message as soon as we revert back to real space. I want the fighter bombers loaded up with Inferno weapons. Whatever it takes. We'll burn the planet if it's necessary. Any casualties, even human, are to be considered acceptable." He adjusts his cap again, and we cut back in real time. Not 1 day, not 10 days or 10 weeks, but 3 months and 5 days later. All of you are waking up, preparing for work. You have numerous tasks set out ahead of you. It has been 3 days since you have met with a gentleman who is the head of the ice methods, who has enticed you into bringing him 12 xenos who have not been touched by the light of the Astronomicon or whatever it is. Through a extreme Hail Mary pass of a roll, you believe that if you bring him 12 of any bodies, he should sufficiently like it. I believe you also said you'd chop them up and have them prepared for him, which is its own disgusting issue. But also on the table,
I have an idea in this respect as well. So
okay.
I think actually I was suggesting we bring him live so they're more fresh. But
you
whatever.
have 4 days to complete this task left. You might be asking, what have you been doing in those times? Well, that Papa Oinker's paperwork still hasn't been finished, and there's plenty of preparation that needs to be done in order to bring them into the Imperium. You, of course, have been dropping into N. Hopolite's testing lab, preparing for a basketball game, performing all of the routine things you would need in your life, and yet there's still so much to do going forward because you're blazing through content way too fast.
I definitely schedule all my appointments with the engineer for half an hour before lunch. And if we go over, we go over.
Oh, man.
So, in a series of quick montages, we see you meeting with him, and he hasn't even started on your product. He's slotted you in, but he has plenty of other products to test. And I think that like yesterday's product that he was testing, he was finishing testing on a device which, when one uses it as a CEO would to golf in your office, it will go and collect all the golf balls and bring it back to you. During his testing, he decided that while it did work, that it was too close to being heretical, that the Adeptus Mechanicus might not accept it. And so while it was slightly more effective than just having a golf ball themed servitor, not enough more effective. And so he has damned several human souls to becoming golf ball recovery servitors to save himself from doing the paperwork with the Adeptus Mechanicus, that he spent the entirety of yesterday doing that. And you barged into his lab during such a session.
But the only real question I have for him is, obviously he has a time frame to do our stuff, but if we focus just on the function and not on the regulatory, could that time frame be brought in? And we just self-certify on the regulatory side, but he just focused on testing the...
You came to him and you said you wanted the works, and that's what you're getting. He's like, I can't believe this. As a testing officer and as an engineer, the client wanting to change the product delivery schedule and changing the scope of the will not happen here. Not today. Not in my testing lab, ma'am. You may
James, are
be
you
a
trying to trigger
servant.
AP?
You may be a servant of the God Emperor, but in here, it is my law that commands. We signed a series of documents, and we shall adhere to them precisely.
I was worried about saying here, I was worried about saying in here, I'm God Emperor. He was going to get totally
that
shot.
Would be heresy. He absolutely just completely whiffs a ball, like way. You could see on the background that he did, he just slices it into what would be a lake on the background. He's like,
I offered him like, oh yeah, should have aimed left.
He just starts to glare at you and says, isn't it lunchtime? Shouldn't you go eat or pray or something?
I don't need to keep seeing going.
We cut forward back to the three of you leaving your domiciles, where your doorman has some posts for each of you. Rassie, you have a series of pick captures from the members of the 143rd. It's just them doing their job. They are continuing to enforce the rogue traders' will and law in the local area. In order to keep sharp, they have taken a sort of mini vacation over to one of the non-Imperium islands and just started beating up citizens and kidnapped several of them to bring back into the Imperium so they could be indoctrinated. They were just letting off some steam. Just normal Imperial Guard stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, you laughed at that. Not you. You laughed later, Cade. This guy laughed at me. The camera's reversed, damn it. Omar laughed immediately. That's messed up, dude.
It
just
definitely sounds like Imperial Guard bullshit to me.
Yeah, it's one of them driving while the two others are doing selfies on the picked capture, them talking to local citizens in Cites Delta, and then just like pick captures of them beating the hell out of somebody in an alleyway, and tagging the area with Imperial Eagles, and then just like, yeah, look what we brought back, 4 more servitors. So they've got like 4 people in manacles being loaded into one of the rogue traders' corporate shuttles, shoving them into the back, and you've got like 4 people huddled in chains, and yeah, this is just normal in this world.
Yeah,
Velamris, go ahead.
I feel like I want to take one of the pics that's like them like smiling while the people being loaded in the back is in the background, and that's the one that Rassie's going to frame.
Perfect. You understand how this works. Velamris, you have a I want to say it's a letter, but really it's more like a very fat manila envelope stuffed with paperwork that is from the Administratum. On the outside it says, stamped for undercover agent Velamris Quineel, mission report. Please fill out all paperwork due within 1 week. The doorman looks kind of ashamed as he hands you this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it and I won't open it right away. I'll wait until later that night to start taking a look at it, because presumably I need to get to work now, since the postman typically comes early in the day.
I mean, it's the doorman, so you're getting the post from him as you're leaving.
Yeah.
Holly, yours is just a simple pamphlet. On the front, it says you can be saved. And then when you open it, the insert on the left side says, we've noticed that you are a person of faith. And as you continue to open it up, it seems to be an invitation to a revival. There's going to be a book burning tonight. And this is being sent to all Imperial citizens who have been categorically analyzed of faith. Who this is from and how you were chosen is not included in this pamphlet. However, they are burning books from the non-Imperium islands that have been gathered up. So everyone's coming together in order to burn them together and bask in the light of their flame. You've been invited tonight, 9 p.m.
Okay, tonight. Okay. Sounds good.
2100, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I just fail at math?
No, you were correct.
Okay. Been a rough week.
There is one thing I didn't get to cover off last time, because we sort of had to like fast forward from leaving to getting back to our, but definitely before I came back last time, I wanted to have made sure that even if it cost me extra money, I wanted to go and get the 12 best Naraji fruit to bring back for liturgical.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah. So when you go into work today, there are 3 Naraji fruit on his desk left. The rest have all been eaten, and he is sleeping at his desk.
Okay, nice. It was just wanted to make sure I was appropriately sucking
up to the superior. Yeah, I understand.
That's right.
And it's important to show your character doing that.
Yeah. So, guys, I have an idea. I've been thinking about this thing with Mikhail Meffert, and obviously, as I said to you before, I'm pretty sure that this whole Halo Star Xenos thing might be just a ruse by the Rogue Trader, but it may not. I don't think it's even Chaderius Darkwind. I think it's probably one of his ancestors that set this up.
It's been 600 years, and Chaderius is only in his 30s.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't even know if Chaderius knows about it. But I was thinking, there's no reason for us to ruin a good thing. But by the same token, how does this sound? We get some of Papa Oinka's stew, and we tell Meffert that the Rogue Trader has found a special artifact or ritual that can clear the signal of the Astronomicon from Xenos meat. And we ask Meffert to test whether the stew that's been appropriately affected provides him sustenance. In which case, if it does, then we've got a further opportunity here for Pops to provide to the Mefferts, and he believes it's only edible to him because the Rogue Trader's device or ritual has been used to cleanse it first. What do we think?
So we're trying to figure out a way to cleanse the meat, as it were, or to indicate that the meat has been cleansed?
Yes. That the taint of the Astronomicon has been removed from it.
Yes. Are we approaching this from
I say that ironically, not heretically.
Correct.
I mean, if we're gonna give him something that we plan to that we're trying to help make available elsewhere, wouldn't it be kind of a problem if he discovered that both are the same?
Well, the good thing about an infinitely renewable resource is it's infinitely renewable. We just need to, if we need to increase Pop's output, we just need to increase his farming area.
Well, I was thinking less that if we want to continue a ruse, then if it's something that he can find without having to go through us to get it.
But not
the
not the ritual cleansing though. I mean, he can probably find xenos. There are xenos on this station, but they're not the ones that he wants.
Well, I was thinking once this soup is available elsewhere on the station and the paperwork is completed, I'm sure the mice methods would find it.
But he won't. They may not know it's the material that's being treated. We just ask Papa Oink to put some paprika in there, and it tastes different from the regular stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good to me.
It's funny you mentioned paprika.
We tell her, yeah, and then this process that we're using purifies it in a way that makes it even better than trying to take it raw.
I know, it's so crazy. It just might work.
Do you think that you can? Do you think that you can sell this?
My only concern is if we're wrong, and it does have to specifically be Halo aliens, and in doing this to him, we cause harm to him that doesn't kill him. And so my idea would be to send him a sample and say that, we believe we have cleansed this sample for you. However, if you have previously tried non-Halo Xenos meats and it has done harm to you, then I suggest that you wait until we find more Halo aliens. But if this works, if it hasn't caused you harm, just like of sustenance, then try this.
So one thing to note is he was eating when you came in.
Regular food, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but not
tainted by the light of the Astronomicon.
Yeah, but not Xenos flesh though, was it? Or
not Xenos flesh. It was like home cooking, exactly like what you received.
He was eating like a sandwich or something, wasn't
he? Yeah. He was eating the kind of stuff you would have seen in the cafe where you went into.
So the question is whether orc flesh on its own would be enough for him.
Then we pass it off as orc flesh that's from beyond the Halo stars.
Well, no, it's orc flesh. It's all flesh. We can say it's come from Papa Oinkers. Like we've sourced this readily accessible source of Xenos meat. However, only we have the secret to make it palatable for him.
I see. The only concern I would have then is if it doesn't, as you mentioned, work as intended, and now he has a point.
Well, if it doesn't work as intended, we're back to where we were, square one. We can say that we think this might work, but it may not work.
Right,
if it doesn't work, let us know, and we'll keep going down this path. My only concern is if by not working, it causes him actual harm. But it does appear he could eat normal food. So,
yes, I think if we send the sample as opposed to an actual shipment, he'll be much more amenable to not doing harm.
Yeah.
I think that would be a wise way to go about it.
All right.
I mean, an alternative could be we take some Xenos and we horrifically mutilate them and hand them over with cut vocal cords.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with killing of Xenos, except for the fact that I'm not very good at killing anything. So that's probably where your area of expertise is, Rassie.
I mean, I feel like we could do both so that, we've made our agreement. We brought him beyond the Halo Star Xenos, and in a way to improve the process to ensure that he gets everything he needs. We've also, the Rogue Trader recently brought back an artifact for distilling the essence of this Xenos life. Would you like to try this as well? Mm-hmm. It's like a safety thing. Plus, I mean, mutilating some Xenos, who cares?
Certainly not a citizen of the Imperium.
Yeah.
Liturgical
immediately wakes up and you can see he's holding a chalkboard with a number of things written down and says, good. Okay, we're beginning today's morning meeting. Everyone, let's all stand up together. And he stands up from his seat. And he adjusts to make sure that his blindfold is on correctly. Is Rassie here?
Yes.
I'm here.
Fantastic. Sir. All right. He holds up the chalkboard. He says, here are the outlining problems that we currently have. 1, there is an unknown time frame before the tunnel snakes arrive and come for payment. 2, you have a basketball game in 4 days, which you have not practiced for. 3, You have the outstanding testing by N. Hoplite at the research department, which has something like 11 days left on it. And I'm not actually sure whether he takes vacation or weekend days. You know, Rogue Trader employees typically have a day off for self-improvement, so it could be longer, business days. There were some promises to the Arbites over accusations of heresy. You have your Papa Oinker's paperwork done. Now that we're all standing, you may raise your hand if there is an additional issue that needs to be added to this list of priority agenda topics.
I'll raise my hand.
Okay. Yes. What do you have to add?
So we wanted to know, we might need to get some dead xenos for somebody. Can we leave this station in any capacity to go hunting xenos? Do we have access to a ship?
Yes, we can get you a shuttle over to the CITES Alpha, which is the Space Hulk.
Oh, okay.
If you have goods to negotiate with, you may be able to purchase the bodies from the local Imperial Guard regiment. I understand that you may have some issues with them.
No, I don't think we have any. Do we have
Okay,
issues with
that's
the
fine.
local guard regiment? Velamris is trying to play it as though, no, why would we have any problems with them? We wouldn't have any problems with them. Why are you suggesting that?
Because
of
Rassie was spent almost 2 years in...
Yeah, no, that's exactly why Velamris is saying it that way, but he's also, being a little glib.
Sure. Okay. Any other action items that need to be added?
If we have the paperwork for... Yes?
I indicate, put your hand up.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Assuming the paperwork is in order for Pops, I believe we're calling it.
Papa Oinker's Perpetual Stew, yes.
Yes.
It is not in order. I'm still waiting for the final paperwork for licensing fees. We will, of course, be taking a franchiser's cut.
Oh, of course. My next question in line with that, of course, is establishing or seeing about establishing the movement of the Jesus.
The Kroltis
porcine?
porcine, yes. From the dealer, yes.
Yes. Which I believe is held in another planet.
Yes, it's on Kroltis.
Yes, that actually makes a lot of sense.
All right. And he starts adding it to the list. You can tell that he has a bit of trouble writing while standing up onto a chalk tablet.
And he's blind.
Okay. But he can see with his, warp sight.
Right, but I find it amusing because he just a moment ago was asking if Rassie was here. Clearly Rassie is here.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It's like he's trying to pretend that he can't see.
Rassie hasn't said anything because, your boss doesn't have to like you, but Rassie's trying to puzzle out what Liturgical's problem with him is.
Okay.
Maybe Velamris, while we do the paperwork, because you have a bit of Stratum context, so you could go and register all the possible SEO iterations of Pops so that when he becomes big time, he has to license back the stuff from us.
Yes, I can certainly see what I can do about that.
Hold on. It's the Imperium.
We don't need any copyright infringement here.
I guarantee someone has already copyrighted every, 1,000. An Adeptus a Magos has definitely picked all of them up, had servitors built specifically to fill out the paperwork for thousands of abbreviations and business names. You want to be Quizit? No, he owns that one already. You got to license it from him.
Yes, I could definitely start that particular chain of events. I was also going to recommend maybe if I took a look at some of this paperwork, but it sounds more like the paperwork that we're waiting on is from outside agencies and not us.
All right, so Liturgical writes SEO optimization. He says, yes, I know the O is for optimization. You're optimizing.
It's optimization squared.
He points to you, says, that's a good one. I'm writing that down for Lord Darkwind. He
In
very
that
seriously
personal-
picks up a quill and writes optimization squared, and then tears it off and puts it in a vacuum tube on the wall. And
I think Velamris would be chuckling, and he's like, "You could just write it O2. You know, make sure the 2 is superscribed instead of."
okay, don't work too hard on this one. We've got it. We've got it. You were perfect the first time.
Yeah, but Velamris doesn't pick up on some of these social cues, so.
In personal news, I'm going to a book burning tonight if anyone wants to join me.
A book burning? Are we burning? I can't imagine it not being heretical documentation being destroyed.
Oh, I assume so.
Is this
Sounds like fun.
is this? Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a new experience.
Yeah. I'm going to... Liturgical, can I use the photostat machine so I can give them a copy of my invitation?
Yeah, of course.
Is this a thing that we can bring outside drinks to?
Doesn't say not to.
Well, I'll grab some beer. Look how AP looked up at me when I said that.
Incredible. Just imagining real life, straight up behavior right before book burnings in a certain country that if I say its name, I'm going to get a shit ton of SEO de-optimizations. I'll bring the beer. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Liturgical just puts his tablet down and turns to look with his blind eyes over at 2 thermometers out of the 3 that have been mostly filled. There's still a big question mark over the thermometer for Papa Oinkers because the whole plan relies on the rogue trader saying yes to allowing, you know, a Crueltis porcine orc combo farm on his ships, which could at any moment turn into a massive greenskin invasion. But
Do you think you have a problem with that, Liturgical?
oh, he does have some problems with greenskins. There was the battle at J27 corridor.
Okay.
Is there a way
Let
to
me
get
let me
message
think.
to him?
Okay. So I write something down on a bit of paper and go, right, how's this? So we tell the rogue trader, what better way is there to crush your enemies than to consume the
taste of
body,
revenge.
the bodies of their children cruelly aborted at the moment of birth. Hashtag demonetized.
Just say, wow. Woo, man, we're reaching deep for this one.
Man, Rassie's just nodding along like, yeah, this sounds great. I mean, every time we talk about it, I'm even more on board.
It's grim, it's dark, you know.
It's yeah.
He takes a deep breath. He T-poses and says, okay, stand back. And then his eyes turn into like white flames and his mouth fills with white flame as he begins sending your message to the contact on board. You feel a sort of whisperiness around you, and let's hope he doesn't roll doubles here real quick.
That would be bad.
94. He goes,
Not quite.
"Ah!" And then he collapses on the floor and he's just like, oh, interference outside, halo stars, not strong enough.
I'll get him in Narachi for he needs some more citrus.
Okay. You get him. He begins very slowly sticking it in his feeble mouth and just going, oh, sweet Narahi fruit, my only blissful oblivion in this world of pain.
The cool porcelain floor.
Your floor is not made of porcelain. 0% chance that this floor is made of porcelain. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm just picturing him in the first waking up from a drunken night moment with that orange. It's just like sweet sustenance, sweet, cool sustenance.
Yeah, so he's just curled up on the floor, extremely exhausted after rolling a 94 to activate his power and failing horribly.
At least it wasn't a 96.
At least it wasn't a 99.
So
That'd
take your
be
time.
horrible.
Have you considered prayer? It's a good way to get extra fate points.
Yeah, prayer. Right.
All right.
Don't you people have work to do?
Yes.
He says as he continues to peel a Narabi and stick an orange slice into his mouth. He's peeling it with his fingernails too, so it's so slow.
That feeling.
I like the way that I like the idea that when he says don't have work to do, rather than us leaving, he just goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
That sounds correct.
With a piece of the orange still just inside the mouth. Yep.
What do you want to do? You've got all kinds of things to do. And there are things on this list that you've said that you're going to do that he doesn't know about. So this is just the things you've agreed to do for work and the thing where you go to the arbitres to figure stuff out.
Well, out of character, what was the arbitres? Were we trying to set up some sort of...
No, that was Holly made a personal promise to Investigator Decker to figure out what's going on with Father Firebrand and his people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Why they interrupted the ritual ceremony.
I'm hoping that maybe tonight might be a good place to get some intel on that sort of thing. So I'm going to start putting together. Well, were you interested in going on a run to the Space Hulk to try and get some xenos? My only concern with the Turgil's comment that we could potentially buy it is the fact that the only things we have to trade right now are the things that we have for our mission, and what we're trading for is not exactly. It's not filling any of the thermometers. This is dealing with an old problem. So I'd rather not use any of our current collateral in order to solve this problem. I'd rather solve that problem. So I'd rather the collateral we spend be bullets as we hunt xenos down rather than trade for them with the Imperial Guard.
Velamris is going to look over at Rassie and just be like, "Yeah, I think we can handle hunting down some xenos."
Yeah.
We take the rest of the basketball team and call it a team building exercise.
Sounds like a plan.
So
shoot?
if I call in the 143rd for this trip, will they be unavailable for the basketball game, or can that be the last thing they do before they return?
You're going to use your battle buddies just for the basketball
Elysian
team.
drop troopers will go with you to the Space Hulk and will stay with you on the Space Hulk throughout this adventure. So during this visit, they will remain with you, and they will not be available the moment you come back. They will participate in the Space Jam, even if you take them there, unless they die there, in which case they don't participate because they're dead.
Okay. I mean, the basketball game's the priority here. All right. I just had to make sure they're going to be available.
And grab pack should provide a nice little advantage in the. Can they use their grab packs during the game?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Hmm?
Can they use their grab packs during the basketball game?
Under no circumstances. Do you want the mechanics crew using the power armor?
We said
that would be hilarious. And then also, actually, we can make a real good thing with this league is that we bring in all this extra shit like mechadendrites, power armor, jump packs.
You specifically said last session that you were limiting the number of limbs available per team.
Okay.
I believe you said the rule was 10 arms per team. Because that's what I have written down here, the 10 arms rule.
The 10 arms rule.
This guy's saying it's one man with 6 guns. That's what you're going to end up with, okay? I believe I said that last time, too. That's what you're inviting, sir.
Yeah,
Speaking of guns, Velamris will mention that if we're going to the Space Hulk, I do need to swing by the house and grab... I almost said old Betsy. I don't want to call it that, but I need to grab my rifle.
I mean, we'll need to coordinate the trip over there anyways.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I can call in the rest of the 143rd for this excursion and go hunt some xenos on the Space Hulk.
Yeah, I think I thought that might be useful for us dealing with the tunnel snakes, but...
Do we even really have a plan for that yet?
No.
You've made several plans to betray them that have petered out and have not actually been executed in any way.
We've been distracted by our actual job.
I do like
Like
the
real life?
idea of I do like the idea of trying to bribe one of them into shooting first while our biddies are nearby.
Here's
So-
$5. I want you to shoot at the cops. What do you think the answer to that's going to be?
No, not to shoot at cops. We'll go to this meeting
shoot
where there's
without
our
being
biddies
near them.
nearby, and I'll pay like one of them to shoot at us.
Okay.
So they start the gunfight, and the Arbites finish it.
Sure.
But if I can get the arbiters on side with dealing with this Father Firebrand issue, then maybe that will help us with the tunnel snakes. But time is ticking.
Yeah, I think the bodies is the thing we've got the shortest time on right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like the bodies are going to be the priority first thing that we go after? Question mark?
Right.
No, we can certainly try to talk to some of the regiment while we're there to try to get an idea of where we might go, where we'd be more likely to succeed and get out. So I'm sure they'll have an idea of the lay of the Hulk in their vicinity.
This is 100% outside of my area of expertise, so I'm gonna, I'll be there to help out whenever I can, but I'm gonna leave the implementation of this plan to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Rassie, I think this is going to be your excuse me. I think this is going to be your show. I could shoot and everything, but you've definitely got the tactical experience here.
Well, let's coordinate getting a ride over, and I'll send a message to the rest of the 143rd.
The Rogue Traders Trading Company has a number of both corporate and contracted pilots who regularly make drops there. And there's also the contractors are for like passengers. You can hop a ride with one of the people that are delivering supplies to the Imperial Guard and bringing back their prizes. Or you can take a passenger shuttle over there, which might be slightly more comfortable.
While these guys are doing planning, I'm going to use my time to start moving the information from liturgical's chalkboard onto a Gantt chart.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Very
I've realized
well.
it's probably time to stop making notes of this game in Notepad and make them sit on Monday.com.
Yeah, this guy is about to start doing project management for the projects you're doing in game. Perfect. It's so funny because I just started a Trello for the APGamingREAL channel. I was like, you know what? It's time to get my project management back underway. We're just gonna dip our toes in the lightest possible. We're doing Trello, baby.
Yeah, well, Trello is good if you're only managing yourself, because that's.
Yeah.
I think I assume you haven't got a bunch of people you're trying to deploy tasks to.
You are the ones I deploy tasks to. So yeah.
All right. Well then, you could also
My
consider
task is
Asana.
please show up at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. Please. I have no way to compel you in any way, shape, or form other than asking nicely.
I can't remember. I've got an old role playing book, and it was like an adventure module, and it had like the explanation about how to use the book at the start, and it had an explanation of this. This is the example of box text. So it said when you see this text, read it out aloud to the players. And the example of box text says, "I want a piece of pizza. Give me a piece of pizza, or your characters die."
Amazing.
That is awesome. It also sounds kind of like something D&D would have put together back in the day. I'm impartial. I feel like if we take the passenger route, it's going to cost us. And if we have company methods of getting over there that are fairly reliable and getting there and back, that probably is the best way to go.
I'd rather use a company ride instead of a contract ride. It's less likely that news of us recently having received bodies right before we deliver bodies. You know what I mean?
The less paper trail in that regard, less questions and more productivity, I suppose.
That we know of. Are there Drakari on the Space Hulk, AP?
There have been numerous alien races that have been spotted. Drakari mercenaries are among those who fought for several different sides, or just Drakari'd to steal people so they could torment them.
Okay, so we do know that that the Drakari is one alien he will eat.
Were you thinking of attacking the Drakari or paying the Drakari to buy other Drakari?
Look, I have look. It's a distance pass, but I have a history with the Drakari that I'm not that keen to do deals with them.
There's a story there.
Okay.
One day you're going to tell us that story.
Let's just say that everybody that ends up in the Adeptus Sororitas starts off as an orphan.
Suddenly 1 + 1 = 2. Very well.
She's like, one day you're going to tell me that story. 5 seconds later, story over.
Yeah.
That was clearly the Cliff's Notes version of the story, but...
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I suppose Drakari is on the menu?
See, I'll organize this trip. We'll ride over on a company ship instead of a contract transport.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to make a leadership roll.
Holly doesn't know this, but of course, one Drakari is like a match for this group in this game system.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little... The player has some concern. I don't feel like these are going to be pushovers.
You guys have some XP in your player characters. What do you have to worry about? I've seen this show before. You guys have never failed at anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I've got 5 rounds I can spend fate points during.
Burn fate point to keep from dying 5 rounds in a row. Yeah.
Leadership is going to be rapport, right?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
You're just bringing everybody together and making sure everyone makes it there on time. You're going to have a plus 10 to this roll. It's easier than normal.
I've actually got leadership. I think is it rapport or is it presence? It's presence, actually.
Is it presence? Okay.
Yeah, leadership's a presence special.
You are making sure everyone arrives in the correct location at the correct time and place. Organizing a small expedition to a war zone. I just want to make sure everybody arrives okay. You get a plus 10 to this roll. How bad could it be if you fail?
It'd be fantastic if you lost your own squad again in the paperwork.
Oh, no. I'm spending a fate before I do the roll because that is no.
Well, I have to tell you, a 99 is still a 99 with advantage.
I know. All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right. The smart aleck.
Easy. It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. This guy. Okay.
See, Velamris, it's easy to get people where they ought to be.
Oh, that would be hilarious if you actually... You know what? I feel like when we all show up and you say that to him, Velamris is going to look at you and be like, fuck, I can't say anything.
Yeah, there's nothing malicious in the way Rassie says it. It's definitely like a... we're talking, we're good. I'm going to give you shit now.
Yeah, Velamris is just like, yeah, I got no comeback for that one. You got me. In fact, I think what he does say is he's just going to be like, I concede.
You ride over. Everyone arrives precisely at the time that they are allotted to be arriving at. No, I didn't do it. You gotta relax. I didn't do it.
I'm too easily amused, though.
I could have, but I didn't. Everyone is there. Close. They board the shuttle. The shuttle is loaded and correctly ready to go. On board, you can see that they basically are... There's no seats or anything. You're just expected to stand for the 2-hour journey. But there are ammo containers. There's some sort of large bales of what seem to be so much worse than corpse starch. It's just like pink meat slurry. So it's in like large clear plastic containers, and it has a Imperial Guard stamp on the side of it, and it says, I gotta get the name of these things. It's an animal feed for...
It would be like the most metal 40K thing if like they feed like human corpse starch to humans, they feed like Grox corpse starch to Groxes. It's like, humans could eat Grox corpse starch, but no, we only feed each species what they are.
I swear I've written this name down 3 times and I can't find it again. It's the
Probably
flying cats from the Calixus sector that are also Imperial Guard mounts.
No, no. Okay.
Not the Gyrinx or anything. It is a full human mountable flying dragon cat. I think they're called M something. I swear I've written it down so many times so I don't forget it. I can't find it anywhere here in this notes.
A Mandela effect, like you sure these actually exist?
no. He's just sure that
They're in the.
It's probably
I believe they're in the Rogue Trader book.
Okay.
Do they even exist? All right, you know what? Warhammer 40K flying
I'm
cats
about to look at my
Rogue
Warhammer book right now.
Trader. That's why you're looking this up. So when we go to the Space Hulk, I want you to know that Holly turns up with her new carapace helm and mesh gloves. So it's like a nun walking in with a pair of welder's gloves and a motorcycle helmet on, but otherwise just regular like robes.
Sister, would you like a flak jacket?
It's probably going to be too big for me anyway. So
It's my spare.
I suppose if you're offering,
And I'll hand over an extra flak jacket.
actually, Rassie's quite short, so it's probably a good size.
But yeah, with my items, I ended up with an extra flak jacket on top of my full flak armor. So yeah, I give you the flak jacket to use.
Okay, I'm sitting here molding. It's called the Maru, and they were discovered by rogue traders in the Coronis Expanse. So get fucked. They're canon. It's real. It's not Mandela effect. I didn't make it up. They're real.
They did start with the letter M.
They're real, and they specifically belong to Rough Rider Imperial Guard regiments, which is supposed to be an indication that one of the companies or more that going forward has a bunch of Maru, because it says Maru feed on the side of it with an Imperial Guard stamp. Now that I've wasted all of our time before the break molding about that, I'm going to mold some more during the break, and when we get back, we're going to see what
More
happens
molding.
when you land on CTA's Alpha.
Probably more molding.
Will always be molding, that's what they say if you want to be successful in streaming ABM.
Always be molding.
Hey, can I take a moment of your time? Will you pray with me? God Emperor, who walks among us, grant us your wisdom and fury, so we might better burn the enemies of humanity. Wow, how simple is that? How succinct. When did we forget to make prayer in every hour part of our life? Has our faith fallen so far from the truth? If you feel lost, if you feel like the burning righteousness inside all humans hasn't been sparked inside you, if you haven't been filled with hate for the other recently, come to tonight's book burning, floor 30. It's not just the imperial truth. It's the only truth. We're back. And the crew here is worried about who will die first in their upcoming visit. I'm
just saying that AP's played enough MMOs to know you always gank the healer.
Or the mage.
Yeah, you always keep the mage, yes.
Yeah.
It does help to kill the healer first, though. Or at the very least, just frighten them enough that they're panicked, and then everything falls apart.
Oh, I'm gonna be crowd controlled. Fantastic.
DPS.
Or Brain Boy uses Confuse. It's super effective.
Guys, I've been sheeped again. Fuck.
Well, if enough orcs believe that Holly is a sheep, that's not unbelievable. Somewhere out there, Commissar Yarrick rises from the grave. Sorry, that's a Warhammer 40K joke. As you are approaching, you can hear the pilot is using the intercom system to speak to you and says, "We're approaching now. As you can see here, the big sign says Site Alpha." And as that's funny to you,
I'm easily amused, AP. I say this
It
at least
just
once an
says Site
episode.
Alpha. I haven't even gotten to the joke yet. You land in a large landing bay, and after a short time, you are let out into processing. You can see that Imperial guardsmen are coming into the shuttle and picking up crates, moving them, getting them fitted to Imperium forklifters, which are, of course, covered appropriately in skulls and script. Guardsmen see your uniform, Rassie, and I believe you said you're openly wearing your 143rd.
Yep.
It openly makes people uncomfortable. They are extremely respectful while approaching you because you have the rank bars and accoutrement to indicate that you're a veteran sergeant. So unlike the rest of the fucking civilians on this vessel and a rogue trader pilot, they pay you some attention, but when they see your 143rd patch, any respect that they have turns to heads down, we're working sort of deal very quickly. This chamber is extremely large, and you can see that while this might be considered a single Imperial Guard regiment, there's probably enough men here to form 3 Imperial Guard regiments. There are numerous sub-companies. You see flags for Cadians, at least 3 different companies of Rough Riders, several other like White Shields and PDFs that have been promoted and kept their banners as they went forward, but all of them are united underneath the command of the 19th here, who are now run by Lord Colonel. Oh my god, I'm losing my notes here today, guys. I've even said his name on stream.
You have
Lord Colonel Renard of the 19th.
Renard.
It is eminently clear, Rassie, to you, if not to the others, that this is a place Imperial Guard companies which have been detached from their units. Like, when an Imperial Guard regiment loses enough of its companies, they aren't like, we should reconstitute this unit. They dump it in a trash can. They just send those companies and break them apart and send them to different regiments as reinforcements. And this looks like it's probably the subsector's dumping grounds, because all of these regiments do not come from the Iron Archipelago. They come from different planets in the subsector. So it's a bunch of broken units, many of whom are either much larger or much smaller than a single company size. There are also an unusual number of flying cats who are holding to piping on the ceiling, any sort of boxes they're standing on top of. I think one of them probably jumps on top of the shuttle, and you hear someone just like, no, Mopsy, down, right now. I'm not kidding. You see that? That's your feed. You're not getting any today. And then the cat like crawls and kind of goes to the other side of the shuttle and hops down so it can't be seen hopping down. And then it moves and starts trying to push Maru feed off of the forklifter. And the guy in the forklifter's like, hey, I'm forklifting here. For you.
I was waiting for you to say that the cat would just stay up there and ignore the person telling it to get down, because that's what a real cat would do.
Maru are intelligent. That's how you know that they're better than regular cats. Velamris, Holly, this place smells like unbelievable shit. It is so bad. It smells like 3,000 people who have trouble washing regularly, and there are definitely dead bodies somewhere around here, for sure. It also smells like gunpowder is regularly fired in the local area, and the tingy ozone of regular usage of power packs from a las gun.
Rassie steps down the ramp.
It's a bouquet of a war zone.
Crosses his arms and just sniffs deeply and says, I miss the smell of a regiment.
I'll put my breath mask on.
Someone passes you. He gives you a slight head bow and says, ma'am, you don't need that here. We fully oxygenated the sector. This is the green zone.
It's my asthma playing up.
Of course. He gets back to moving one of the boxes onto a pallet on a forklift.
Velamris is just like, this is a new smell for the smell bank. This is, well, at least it's not a Forge World, where I feel like the smells would be more often like hot metal, oils, occasionally body parts. Yeah, toxic gas. Yeah.
These smells are less likely to kill you on accident.
Yeah. Oh, dead bodies. That's a new smell.
All right. I'm gonna look for the rest of the drop troopers.
Oh, they're on the shuttle with you. They've walked out as
Oh,
well.
okay.
You look around and they walk out, and the three of them hell diver their way out. You know, they all emote as they get off of the ship together, but each of them has a different emote.
They're not synced.
They have their full drop trooper gear on, and it looks glorious with their little jets.
I want to pull one of the guardsmen aside.
One of your guardsmen, or one of the 19th?
One of the 19th.
Okay. He does not meet your gaze. He looks up, realizes who you are, and goes to looking at your collar and says, Sergeant, what can I do for you?
I need to know where the scouts are.
The scouts are in the yellow zone right now, corridors I-5 and O-7. Have you checked in, Sergeant? I didn't realize the 143rd was joining us. It's not on the schedule for today.
We're not joining the 19th.
You can tell that he's got a dry mouth right now of someone who doesn't understand what's going on and has already questioned you way more than is appropriate.
Just point me in the direction, and you can get about your business, guardsman.
So he points to a series of signs that are completely unreadable at this distance because of how big the room is. But you're in a rectangular box, and, you know, the outside is one side of that box, and then there are three other sides. You could see, to some extent, there are words with colored arrows associated with them. Red, green, and yellow. And these sites contain more information when you get closer to the exits from this room, deeper into the space hull.
All right, let's go.
Indeed.
You head into a organized military camp. Tents set aside inside of the space hulk for troopers to live privately. Mess, armory, everything that you need. A vehicle depot, a Maru cat depot, which involves moving a lot of shit around.
Involves herding cats.
It does involve herding cats. And the shit I'm talking about is quite
cats.
literal. They are intelligent cats. Somewhat infuriating for you, Rassie.
Is it just like a giant litter tray?
A 40K sized litter box.
No. What they've done is
It's the size of a house.
they've just laid the litter down to make a sort of litter sea. And then they send privates in there to, scoop it out. Arm-sized chunks. You happy now, James? Now that I've fully described it? Now that you've demonetized me and now you're aiming to break rule number 1?
They're obviously not concerned with toxoplasmosis here, so...
Well, these are space dragon cats, so you don't need to worry about toxoplasmosis. Whatever they have will be much worse.
I think at some point, Velamris is going to look over to Rassie and be like, sure is a lot of people here. Whole lot of people. Whole lot of equipment.
Rassie, you can see that members of the 19th's honor company assigned directly to the colonel are bouncing around in Elysian gear, which immediately sours your drop troopers. You're Elysian. Understanding subtle grav currents and the wind is in your blood. It's just how it works. Even if you weren't a drop trooper, you would get it. These people have no soul to their flight. As they bounce across this room, they might look competent to an untrained observer, but they are really just children engaging jets at maximum on takeoff and on landing. There's no soul to their flight at all. These people are qualified to use the gear in the same way that someone who has completed a shop at completed a lesson at a gun shop can handle a firearm. They are by no means experts in using this thing. And they're using it casually to cut lines and jump over tents. No respect for the craft.
Whatever joke Velamris was going to make, he just shuts up when he sees that. He's like, nope, not touching that one.
Is there anything... Are they violating any rules with this behavior?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Rassie will just look back at the rest and say, we'll talk about this later.
You reach one of the edges of the room. You can see that there is a yellow area that says a yellow arrow that says 07, along with several other. Perhaps what stands out to you most is that there's a red arrow labeled J27 that has 3 black X's next to it. Someone is a corporal, is in charge of the small contingent of guardsmen here, sees you approaching and says, I'm sorry, who are the 3 of you?
I'm Veteran Sergeant Rassie van Lucht.
I don't see you on the list of scouts for the day. Do you have your orders with you? Authorizing you for passage?
Not here under orders through the 19th. We're here under orders of the Chaderius, of the Darkwind Trading House.
Okay. And who are these 2? And as he says that, you can see he gestures and his men start fanning out around you. Who are these 2? Civilians?
These 2 are civilians that are here under the same authority.
I see. Okay. This is a secure military facility. I'm going to require you, the 3 of you, to come with me until you speak to someone of note. I trust there won't be any problems here.
Nope.
Veteran Sergeant, I'm going to need you to relinquish your weaponry to me.
Under what regulation?
You are in a secure military facility, unauthorized.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with this. If this goes badly, this goes really badly for a whole bunch of other people.
Okay. You start turning your weapons over. He lets the drop troopers keep their stuff, but he takes yours. Respectfully, and hands them to one of his subordinates who just carries them for you. And your squad is escorted back into the center, deeper into the heart of the 19th. You are led outside of a very grand command tent that is covered in black sheets with gold trim and has the Imperial Aquila on the outside of it, the flag of the 19th, and some sort of personal heraldry. As a lieutenant takes in everything that has happened and says, Veteran Sergeant Rassie van Lucht, I have a notice here saying that the 143rd has been officially disbanded. Can you explain your presence here?
We are here under the banner of the Darkwind Trading House.
Understood. that does not confer to you the ability to wear a uniform.
So Rassie, I'm trying to think here.
Here's what you know.
Yeah,
You know
that's what
that
I'm
the
trying to
rogue
figure out.
trader has been given permission drunkenly in a promise by the Sector Lord that if the 143rd exists, which the Sector Lord didn't believe, then he could have them for a period of 1 year of time, if they gave their permission.
Okay.
And he wrote it drunkenly on a cocktail napkin during a poker game. This is the entirety of what you know about your situation.
Yeah.
Is that you were traded as a joke.
So yeah, I think Rassie's going to try to explain something to the effect of like, if we were disbanded, then the Sector Lord would not have authorized a 1 year lease of the survivors of the 143rd to the Darkwind Trading House.
He looks at you, tries to get a read on you, turns again. Corporal, you're dismissed. I will take charge of these individuals who are being detained. This is something you will need to speak with Lord Coda Renard about. For now, out of respect for your years of service and that of your guardsmen, I will not have you stripped of your uniforms and accoutrements and tied to a flogging post and beaten until death. But know that I am having such a post erected right now, depending on what orders I receive from the Lord Colonel. And he's snapping and pointing at someone nearby who's like, yes, sir. I'll go arrange for a beating and death hole real quick. Would you like the rope thongs or the leather ones? He's like, leather, of course. We should do it in style.
Well, then I look forward to the conversation with the Lord Colonel. And
You should wait here quietly.
well, no servants of the Emperor here, and Rassie will find something to sit on.
He turns with a pivot to you, Velamris and Holly, and way more hospitably says, I apologize. You have been involved in an internal matter. I do not wish to hold you up here any more than is necessary. Is there anything we can do for your group before we send you on your way? I assume you would like to investigate this space hulk under the authority of your rogue trader?
Yeah, we were really expecting Sergeant Van Lucht to be accompanying us. We didn't foresee this sort of problem. So I guess we're going to sit tight for a moment.
Mr. Van Lucht is in a bit of a situation. I will not comment further on it. If you'd like to wait here, we can provide you with chairs and refreshments. Our relationship with the rogue trader is good.
I'm going to look at Holly and kind of give Holly the, could you do your people talking thing now? Because this guy's starting to irritate me. Look.
Sorry, wait, I can take my bed mask off. I'm not going to bang this guy. We're on a schedule for the rogue trader that has brought us here, and further delays are going to cause distress and harm to the Darkwind dynasty. Is there a reason why this can't be sorted out at a later point? We obviously need to come back through here after we've done what we need to do on the space hulk, and we can't do that without Rassie.
When you say that, he takes a power stance and squares himself towards you and says, I don't think I need to explain to you, sister, that what Mr. Van Lucht has done here in wearing that uniform may constitute both treason and heresy, which we take extremely seriously.
Oh, well, we have a blanket pardon for all activities from the Inquisition. Just ask our skull right here.
He laughs at the idea that the Inquisition exists and says, yes, your servo skull. Very entertaining.
So you're not obeying the orders of the Inquisition?
If you produce for me a Imperial Inquisitor who offers such a pardon forward, I will allow Mr. Van Lucht to leave right now.
Can I do a quick aside?
With who?
With the servo skull or
Absolutely.
the
We
office
cut
style.
to you are seated at a campfire where guardsmen are eating their rations, and you've got like a little tin of rations as well. We can see this conversation is happening about 30 feet away in the background as you're doing your aside with the servo skull. The guy next to you is like, hey, what's up? And then he turns back to go talk to his other partner.
Yeah, so Velamris is, while munching on these rations or what have you, he's just like, I gotta be honest, I really, really want to punch this guy, but I realize there's like 10,000 guardsmen nearby, and this is gonna go bad super fast, and it'll be done super quick, and I'll be super dead. But Mr. Lord Inquisitor, sir, this would be a great time to give us a little bit of validity so we can get back to our mission. If you can't, I get it, but this would be a great time to do that.
The servo skull hovers ominously as you say that.
Of course.
Not changing in any way as you beg. We cut back to the situation.
So, we have a blanket pardon, whether you believe it or not. We can go and do our mission here, and we can solve this when we get back. Or you can detain us now, and if I am speaking the truth, then you're going to find yourself executed for heresy on your own.
Well,
so,
if I let you go, I will also be executed for heresy. So if you'll excuse me, if I'm going to be executed for heresy, it should be for following orders. Something Mr. Van Lucht apparently doesn't know about.
Rassie looks relaxed while seated waiting.
I think Velamris is coming back from his aside at that moment. He's just like, impasse.
About 10 minutes later, you hear a voice from inside the tent call out, Lieutenant Mirage, send him in. And he gestures for you to go into the tent.
I stand up and I will head into the tent. And
Are we going with him, or is
That's
it just
a great
Rassie?
question. Are you going with him?
is that the implication? I mean, do you want us to go with you?
Would it be amenable if the sister comes with me?
This is the moment where the idea that the Inquisition is real, which is something, you know, the Imperial Guard, sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, depending on what edition you're in.
I mean, the Adeptus Sororitas are the Order Militant of the Ordo Hereticus.
Sure.
So,
right.
I have an inquisitorial eye hanging on my chaplet ecclesiasticus around my waist.
Now he's wondering if he should be opposing this particular part. He certainly doesn't have any orders to not let you go in. And he adjusts his collar, and rather than say yes or no, simply turns away so he isn't looking when whatever happens next happens.
I'll follow him in.
The servo skull
Vamos
follows the three of you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I assume it makes noise like a Star Wars droid as it moves.
It just says Inquisitor.
That probe droid noise.
Yeah.
Wom, 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 wom.
In need of assistance.
But yeah, Rassie will observe full customs and courtesies for the Lord Colonel.
The Lord Colonel is clearly hamming it up. If he was still alive, it would be played by the guy who played Bison from Street Fighter.
Raul Julia.
Raul Julio, yeah. As he turns, he in a episode that has already been filled with people with magnificent headpieces. His colonel headgear is immaculate. It is even more filled with gold filigree and strange metals than the Lord Rogue Trader, perhaps because this guy has more ego and less cause to be ornate. His shoulders are clearly that 1990s businesswoman trying to look serious inserts so that they're perfectly straight sort of deal. His uniform has that sort of Gaddafi, like the coat is open and it's sagging under the weight of all of his decorations sort of deal. Like, it just looks ridiculous. He also has on a red sash that seems to be significant to him in some way. And instead of having a uniformed belt, he also has like a red silk cloth through where his belt should be. He turns towards you, immaculately polished boots glinting in the sort of dark torchlight of this tent. Everything stark black utilitarian, as he says, "So, Rassie van Lucht, you have the audacity to show yourself here in front of the 19th. I believe I have here a warrant for your execution for desertion and treason. You allowed the 143rd to be destroyed, lost along the way, and it has been 2 years since you have reported in."
Rassie will, if this is the sort of thing Rassie would certainly do. Rassie's like, because of everything that was happened during the whole 2 years, and like the struggle to try to keep up with all the paperwork and the resubmittals and everything, Rassie has copies of all kinds of stuff because Rassie's a hoarder at this point. So Rassie says, for the lower colonel's viewing pleasure, and pulls out all of the Darkwind trading house, or like the documents, the orders, and all of the and this kind of throws Velamris under the bus a bit, but all of the attempted correspondence and everything, but most importantly, like all of the paperwork for the acquisition of the 143rd by the Darkwind trading house.
He takes this sheaf of papers from you and begins flipping through it casually as he observes the other two people in the room and the servo skull and says, "And I'm sorry, I don't know who the two of you are. What is your purpose here?"
We also work for the Rogue Trader. We're here to claim some xenos hides from this rock. Or from this hulk, sorry.
You are aware that that's illegal. This is Imperial territory.
Oh, that's what the skull's here for. It's part
the
of
skull's here for what exactly?
That it's our inquisitorial. We have a blanket pardon for all activities carried out in our duties for the Darkwind lineage.
I will choose to believe you because only an insane person would claim such a thing and not have it. And this acquisition of bodies is in the pursuit of your duties as a rogue trader.
Indeed. Well, no, sorry.
For the Rogue Traders Trading House, yes.
Yes.
These are original documents.
Yes, Lord Colonel.
What is to stop me from destroying this documentation right now?
Am I still armed?
I have a firm belief that I have no fear of that. We're both loyal servants of the Emperor.
And they're not the only copy either.
I thought you just testified that these were originals.
You can have multiple originals. Someone can sign something in triplicate.
That checks out. The blanket pardon does not cover you for activities before you became a servant of the Rogue Trader, I would still be within my rights to have you executed for coming here.
Does Militant Lord Trader not have good ties with the Adeptus Minister? Oh, no, I'm sorry,
We have a
Military?
amenable relationship with the Darkwind Trading Company.
I assume that's a relationship you would like to keep amenable.
Are you saying that this man is so valuable to the Chaderius Darkwind Trading Company that executing a known traitor for which I have a warrant for would damage my relationship?
I'm asking if you can take that chance.
I'm getting you to roll, Chips.
Okay.
That's pretty good, though.
Don't forget your pre-roll.
So I'll do my pre-roll first.
In the words of Brennan Lee Mulligan, chaos isn't cute.
All right, so I will do this first off with is it rapport or presence? My choice of rapport or presence. So I'll do it with presence is better, and I will spend a fate point to make it with advantage. That's all right. I'll keep. So first off, does the Rogue Trader have any reputation with the Militarum?
I am not required to reveal that to you. It will go in a bonus or
okay.
to
Cool.
his roll.
All right, but we've definitely invoked the
Yes.
Rogue Trader. So if he has a positive, then we should get SL added to our
Correct.
result. All right, no worries. So what skill would you like in terms of what I've been doing here?
That's a great question. I honestly don't know whether this is something like intimidation or just persuasioning. Would you say that it's intimidating?
That's still wouldn't they both be under rapport?
I think
no, intimidation is under
under
presence. Yeah.
I'd say it's probably because I'm not. You're right. I'm not trying to make him like me. I'm trying to get what I want. So I'd say probably presence is more than rapport.
Okay.
Right.
It is opposed by his discipline composure, which as a Lord Colonel, he's pretty good at.
I will also do the plate on this one. So.
Well, he rolled a 29, so good luck. Well.
I rolled a 3.
Well. He stares at you unflappably for a few moments before settling back on his heels, turning profile, the papers, and says, "Very well. What will you give me for this man? What is he worth to the Darkwind trading family?"
I don't know what you need. What is it you actually? What would move the needle on your
troops,
needs?
Ammunition, weapons, the ability to overcome my enemies, complete control of this space Hulk, external support, a blockade.
I mean, troops, ammunition, and weapons are all things that the Rogue Trader has, but they're all things he uses. In which case, to provide those would be to weaken himself. You're asking him to weaken himself either way.
I'm asking that the position of the 19th be strengthened to hold this objective.
What is that objective?
Control of this space Hulk. Artifacts and technology which are prohibited for general use are brought back and destroyed, and things which are allowed and even celebrated are sent deeper into the Imperium to be used at the discretion of my superiors. This place is a testing ground upon which xenos scum are destroyed and which heresy is rooted out.
What if we were to?
I'm sorry. Good.
What if we were to set up an arrangement where we collected everything that was to be destroyed and ensured that it was removed from even the outer edge of the Imperium before being destroyed?
I find it highly unlikely that you, the three of you, the six of you, will be capable of clearing this entire space hulk and sorting through.
No. I mean, when I'm assuming that people, you go in and you bring the stuff out, right? And you need to have it destroyed then. Yeah. So I'm saying that we could provide destruction services for whatever it is that you bring out.
We are perfectly capable of destroying things. We are the Imperial Guard.
You've never found a single artifact that has profane powers that prevent it from mundane destruction.
When you say that, he turns away from you and takes his hat off and says, "There are many things that I have seen here. And sometimes outside specialists need to be brought in. Specialists who work," as he turns back to all of you, but keeps his eyes on the servo skull, that work for the Imperium, not for a rogue trader trading house.
Well, the rogue trader clearly works for the Imperium as well.
I'm sure.
I look at Holly and I want to indicate some form. I'm trying to think of how I would do this. Velamris wouldn't use names, but he's definitely referring to Yianopolis and some of the others. But he'll say, I'm sure we have some experts that can facilitate some of this.
I think he's looking for inquisitorial experts.
Could be. And I'll look pointedly at the servo skull with another nod, a significant PC glance of, this would be a great time.
I mean, we have permit from the Inquisition, but we're not agents of the Inquisition. So the only we have to offer here is the fact that the rogue trader has the right to take these things beyond the edge of the mankind's universe and dispose of them, even if it involves us throwing them into the void somewhere beyond the halo stars.
He takes a deep breath and says, "I have a problem in need of a solution. Until that problem is solved, I am willing to remit Mr. Van Lucht and his miscreants into your custody. Miss
Van der Velt.
Sister Van der Velt. We have recently been forced to execute a guardsman who has been found to have been trafficking in profane and illicit xenos substances. It is believed that he made contact with a civilian whom we have yet to identify, and that civilian was illegitimately both brought onto this base and returned to the Iron Archipelago proper. We need this person tracked and quarantined.
Do you have any information about this person?
No. I have no further information to share beyond the fact that they were on this base 5 days ago. We do not know how they arrived here. We do not know how they left. We believe this person to be a human female.
And how do you know they were here at all?
Testimony of several witnesses whose reliability is in question.
And they just said human female, no other description beyond that.
In between screaming, yes. If you can quarantine this individual and return them to me, or provide proof of their complete destruction, I will allow Mr. Van Lucht to return to service within the Imperial Guard. And I will make sure that the 143rd is removed from the list of the lost and the damned.
I'll look for Rassie.
Man, if there is an arrangement that the Lord Colonel sees fit to restore the 143rd, then I would do everything I could to restore the memories of the fallen and those of us who survive, so we may continue to serve.
I will make sure that you and your people are transported away from this location ASAP. Your equipment will be returned to you when you have landed on whatever location you deem that is not my base. I hope for your sake you find what I'm looking for quickly.
Do you have any data slate picks? Anything that we could use to identify this individual? There's a lot of people in the archipelago that I still don't think I said that word right.
It's Archipelago.
Yeah, sure.
Speak with Lieutenant Mirage outside. He will provide you with what you're looking for.
Thank you.
You may go.
Velamris is going to do a little lift his hand, not quite a salute, and start
He's
making his
not
way out.
amused in any way, shape, or form.
Sure. He doesn't have to be.
Okay.
I've never had the opportunity to tell a colonel to go fuck off either, so
Good. You don't have the opportunity to do that now either.
it would not be smart. So that's why he gets the
I think, Holly, again, because of your business predisposition, you get the idea that you are once again being shook down by someone who has been proven to be corrupt in the past.
Yeah.
Several minutes later, you find yourself on a emergency transport back to CITES Alpha, which isn't even where you came from. Or sorry, CITES Beta. They're just dumping you on the closest rock that they can find. And it's up to you to figure out what to do from there. Rassie, your weapons are unceremoniously dumped, but dumped very carefully. Like, they lower to the ground and then push it all in a pile off of the shuttle onto the space station / rock so that you can pick it up from there. They would never dishonor the weapons, just you.
Let's see, make sure I get my terminology right here.
You do have several pictures of what appears to be a very curvaceous woman from several angles with like red hair done up in ringlets. She's got a very 1920s movie star look to her. She's wearing a form-fitting dress, talking to an individual that is... So the pictures are of the guy, like they're trying to get good pictures of the guy, and he's like circled in them, and then written in text on one of them, like someone took a pen and wrote "target eliminated" on it.
Does she look anything like the Wanderer?
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Because I thought she was a redhead too, but
She is a redhead. She definitely is not this woman.
okay.
This Arthur's predilection for redheads.
Mm-hmm. No,
It's my predilection. Blonde,
So-
green
I got you, AP. I got you.
anime girls from Rome is my preference.
What was so the trying to make sure that I get this right. It was the sector
Sector Lord.
The Sector Lord who drunkenly gave us away.
Yes.
What's the Sector Lord's name?
Ooh.
Like, what is his rank in name?
Sejanus? I mean, his rank
That
is Sector
sounds right.
Lord.
Sejanus.
Yes. Lord Sector, in fact.
Yeah, Lord Sector.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at one point when you were saying when you said that Lord Sector did this and the guy didn't believe it, I was going to say, I can sell you 5 minutes of his time if you want to check with him.
That actually would have been pretty good. Okay, his official title is Lord Governor Aulus Sejanus, and I will put it in the. But he is the lord of this sector. I'm putting it in the Discord.
Yeah, he'd be governor of the world, of the capital world, and also then lord of the sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have one of the things that the trading house has is 5 minutes of his time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But do you want that?
But so Rassie, after we're left here, Rassie looks at the rest of the group and says, "We sounds to me like the Lord Colonel doubts the word of the rogue trader and the Lord Governor."
Suprenza just nods and says, "Damn right. Something should be done about that heretic."
I think
he's trying to cover up. He's trying to get rid of loose ends.
I think it's time that.
So, who's the princess? Sorry again.
One of the three.
Choppers.
It's from Rassie's intro.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's one of the three drop troopers. You're like, who's that? And I'm like, it's it's everybody that we know. It's Suprenza, Rat, and Moon, right? We've seen them in the background of the 1 minute and 30 seconds intro for this show. The three of them are always there.
They're when they roll the intro credits.
Yeah, they get 2 seconds of the three of them standing there all.
I would like to try to find these bodies another way. Unless we have to, for the sake of the rogue trader, I would prefer to do no favors for the Lord Colonel before something is done about his doubting of his superiors.
So a couple of things here. First off, I don't think even if we solve his problem, he's going to let us back onto the he might reinstate you, but he's not going to let us back onto the space hulk.
No, and if anything, I imagine
begrudgingly.
If anything, I imagine he'll give conflicting orders so that no matter what we do, we're traitors again.
With that being said, this woman in this picture is obviously guilty of something there, but she's also proof of his guilt to fail to secure his own base.
Indeed. And is apparently trafficking, according to the Lord Colonel, in some sort of xenos substance, which may or may not be of interest.
That was the person she met with.
Yeah.
Was that?
That was
the
the
person she met with is the one trafficking it. You don't know for certain that she is. You can listen. You can easily suspect that she is.
Yeah,
you have
Velamris
no
going on that
proof
angle.
That she is.
Yeah, no, Velamris is going to go on that angle that she's somehow involved with trafficking whatever the xeno substance is, which may or may not be of interest to us for the rogue trader.
But whether you want to help him or hurt him, she's the key.
Yes. And I certainly am not in a position right now to help the Lord Colonel. I don't like his attitude, but I'm not an Imperial Guardsman, so I'm allowed to not like him, I suppose.
By the way, I assume you have more copies of that paper, by the way. I didn't actually know that.
Oh, of course.
Okay, good.
Holly, I don't think I had a chance to tell you, but
I don't know how they do it in other regiments, but in the Elysians, we know that you carry 10 copies of your orders. So you can put one in every bag, every piece of equipment.
And you mark your last one with highlighter that says copy.
Sorry, Velamris, you were saying before?
Holly, I don't think I had a chance to tell you, but there may be some conspiratorial goings-ons with the Lord Colonel. If you noticed, I'm not sure how much you might know, but that seemed about the equivalent of like 3 regiments here. He may have burned the 143rd in order to provide men and material for his command here, and used indirectly me as the scapegoat for incompetence and paperwork.
Look,
I could be barking up the wrong.
let's get back to the
tree.
trading house. And come up with a plan for our immediate issue. I'm very, very interested in a long and thorough discussion about what we can do about the Lord Colonel, but we'd have the service to the rogue trader comes first.
Yes. And speaking of, because this is also indirectly to the rogue trader, Velamris will look around and be like, I wonder, can we get bodies here for the method? So we don't have that problem anymore.
So just to be clear, you are on Imperial held territory right now on CITES Beta.
Well, then that statement would have been said a little bit more sotto voce.
Okay.
When the only xenos here are sanctioned xenos.
Yeah. Hey, still Xeno. That's really bad of me to say that.
That's okay. We've already been demonetized twice.
Okay, we're good then. I can keep going.
Sorry, we're offending all our xenos listeners.
In that case,
2 million light
imagine
years from now, when this non-degraded broadcast sent out into the ether via satellite internet reaches the what's it called, the in-between, the cosmic background radiation, and survives it perfectly, people will decode this moment and go, man, these 4 guys are assholes.
So do you upload to YouTube Xenos?
If there was a YouTube Xenos, you know I would upload to it. I gotta broaden my reach.
Yeah. Is this content safe for Xenos? Tick or not tick?
Under no circumstances. Discusses controversial issues regarding Xenos.
But perhaps the details that we would need to discuss, we should do at the trading house.
Yeah, if this is not a good place to acquire what we need for the method guy, maybe we should look at getting back to CITES Delta. And I imagine the Darkwinds have some sort of facility here, if not just a kiosk station automatically ran or something to get us back.
Sure. You stand in front of a sign that says now leaving site beta, and get on a transport several minutes later, headed over to CITES. Oh my god, what's the fourth one? Delta. My brain is working so hard today.
Well, it's
I got that.
I don't think Delta is the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet. But,
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta?
Gamma. Gamma's
maybe,
third,
okay, yeah, that's right.
Delta.
Yeah, maybe it's Delta, sorry, yeah.
Velamris will take a long look at his rifle as he puts it back into some sort of case along the, somewhere along this journey. He's like, well, one day I'll get to do this. Then he mutters that very quietly.
Okay. Rat looks over at you and he's just like, you want to shoot somebody?
Kind of, yes.
You should come with us on our next patrol.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, we love shooting random people.
Would Velamris know anything about the pictures that Rassie received earlier? I imagine not.
But it's not unusual for Imperial Guardsmen invading a planet to just start finding anything heretical. Yeah.
I think Velamris might be...
Does that look like heresy to you? Yeah, it looks like heresy to me.
Looks like heresy to me, Sergeant. Push it over, start breaking stuff. Use your rifle to knock the glass out.
Is the heresy... Sure. If the heresy's running, it's heresy. If it's not running, it's well-trained heresy.
If they weren't traitors, they wouldn't run.
All right, so now we got the tick for police violence has been added. Got it. Super demonetized.
I think Velamris will.
I love the dog gunner scene from that. That's so great.
Oh, from oh god, now I can't remember. Is that Apocalypse? Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Yeah. How do you shoot women and children? It's easy. Just lead them less.
Wow, so dark.
Yeah, Velamris will be like, yeah, I'll take
dark.
Wow. Wow.
That doesn't make this better. Let's just be really clear. All right, so meanwhile, in the Grimdark 40K universe, you arrive. They offload you off of this transit shuttle. You could see tons of people have walked between Beta, Gamma, and Delta and look somewhat jealous of the fact that you have a private transport around. Because they have to go in, I don't want to say exosuits, but, you know, in like pressurized suits and walk along several hundred meters of iron chains to go between one area and another. And so the fact that you guys just took a quick taxi cab jump from one to another is just like, ooh, look at Mr. Money over here.
I think they put like pressurized tunnel system or something on those chains.
Require, first off, the chains, the island, they're all chained together.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all moving constantly.
Yeah.
You know what, the
Velamris
tunnel
doesn't
just
think of that.
burst.
He
Yeah.
doesn't think about that. He's not a pilot. He's not experienced with the void.
Okay. Any number of public transit options are available to get you anywhere you want within Delta, including back to base if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'd
As the loading screen goes by, we see a little a figure of Leagues of Voton. What's it called? Sanction when you're a sanctioned xenos or a sanctioned abhuman? Is that what it's called? Doing a bunch of breakdancing to a high gothic version of Motley Crue's "Kickstart My Heart." Just doing some breakdancing there before eventually the loading screen ends and all of you have arrived. You can see that Liturgical is sprawled out on his desk again, seemingly asleep.
Is it like a Skyrim cutscene where you can like rotate the dancing around?
Of course.
Spin the mouse wheel so it flies around.
It's also because it was made after the copyright ended on loading screen minigames. There's also, you can do the DDR with him, and as you do, it'll make like little light rings show up around him, like psh, psh, psh. If you do the button presses necessary to make his breakdance work for Kickstart My Heart in High Gothic. You've arrived. Liturgical is asleep. Suprenza, Rat, and Moon are all going back to assume their regular duties. You are left with even more blockades to your forward movement. And as you suspect, even if you solve this problem, you may not be allowed to advance further into the Space Hulk because Bernard is openly hostile to your group and possibly corrupt.
Definitely corrupt.
Okay.
AKA a jerk.
Possibly hostile, definitely corrupt. How about that?
There's wheels turning in Rassie's head about what to do about this, but he is very focused on solving this immediate issue.
I couldn't lead you away from the Xenos body problem?
No.
Well,
by the way, that's going to be a great book that I'm going to write, Xenos body problem.
I thought it was your band name.
Could be a sex tape.
Jesus. Oh my.
So Velamris.
I just derailed the whole show.
Yeah.
Keep going. Ignore him.
So Velamris.
Yes.
You took the time to travel around, right? To get a lay of things. It's already helped us with finding things before.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a local tour guide, knowledge of all things, but I'm sure we could figure something out. What's up?
I mean, the road. So we could we try to buy these bodies?
You're talking about cold trade. I don't think there's a lot of that here on Delta. We're pretty solidly Imperial territory right here.
Did you only travel around Delta, or did you go elsewhere?
I feel like I would have only done Delta.
Delta's quite big, you know.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of people live here.
I mean,
should I move ahead with my plan this morning and just try to send him just the pops and tell him to ask him if that cause we were sort of adding that on as another thing we could do, but I can just send him the stew and say that it's been treated and see what he says.
Liturgical on a 31 pops up immediately and begins sending another message. He begins hovering into the air while T-posing, and all of your data slates turn off, and frost forms over the desks. After a few seconds, he falls back down, back into his chair, and goes, "The work is done," before collapsing his head onto the desk again and falling asleep.
Well, thank you.
Rassie's taken a habit of being on as opposite side of the room as possible from liturgical to be. He doesn't understand what the
The
problem
wave of
is.
frost that covers everything creates a circle around you. You're totally unaffected by it. Also, your data slate's still working.
Hey, why is yours not working? Or why is yours working and mine's not? I don't
know how any. I don't know. That sounds like a question for liturgical.
Are you a psyker? Can I even ask that
No.
question without being
Liturgical
heretical?
immediately snorts.
No, not even. No.
Are you sure? Have you been tested? I feel like there's a test for that.
I have nothing. I have no. There's never been a need to. Nothing's ever happened.
At any rate, sister, I think if we send that sample to Mikhail, I think that was his name.
Mihaly.
Nahal, sure. I can't read my notes half the time.
We've
I
heard
think
your negotiation skills. If anybody is going to be able to make this happen, it's you, sister.
Well, I mean, we can still pursue both angles. I just want to get this. I just want to keep the big chain moving. So AP, what I plan to do is purchase, like, a thermos full of stew from Pops, send it to Mephit with a note saying that we've reviewed the Rogue Trader's findings and had discovered that he found a artifact that he could use to cleanse the. I'll put taint of the Astronomicon from the from xenos flesh. We've tried a sample of it on this well-known orc cuisine from your own station. If you are able to imbibe food and tell us if this meets your needs, then we could maybe work an arrangement with the Rogue Trader to continue cleansing more of Pop's meals to meet your nutritional needs. Let us know if this works. Otherwise, we'll keep pursuing the body angle.
Maybe throw a little bit that, this artifact could help increase volume to reduce risk or anything like that,
Yeah. And I'll definitely get paprika added to it, just so it's not just regular.
Make sure it tastes different.
Yeah, Pops definitely says it's already got paprika in it, but I'll make sure to use the smoked paprika.
That's the good shit. I use that all the time.
Let's see. I don't think you can use fate on somebody else's roll.
No.
Would anyone like to burn a point of fate to win this test?
Can I burn
or
my
spend?
You need to burn a
both.
point of fate to activate for the Emperor in order to win a test by one success level.
Can I burn the fate that I've got for this mission from praying?
Wow.
And no longer have it for the rest of this.
James, you can. That's such a cop-out, but yes, you can burn that 1 point of fate and succeed on this roll instead of failing. You get a message back shortly afterwards that is delivered by hand from a gentleman in a black suit that is written in a very excited hand that says, "This is fantastic. Its reviving properties are unparalleled. The freshness is incredible. I haven't had meals like this in hundreds of years. I demand that whatever process or item is available is made available to me immediately.
Okay, so I will send back
P.S.
something
You
saying.
owe me 11 more bodies."
So I'll just send back something saying, like, that belongs to the Rogue Trader, that the Rogue Trader has to make that call when he gets back. In the meantime, we will make sure that we send you enough food to keep you and we will, order more. Add, I'll pay Pops for some extra paprika, and I want to make sure that until we're delaying
Sorry,
right now.
Your message stopped when you said, "I'll pay Pops for the extra paprika," right? I'm assuming that's not going in the message.
No.
Just making sure I understood. I was like, that was a weird thing to add to the message.
No, I was paraphrasing what it's saying.
Yes, I understand that. I'm just double checking.
We will keep supplying him with what he really needs, including sending him, a bunch more of this until such time as the Road Trader returns, and the Road Trader can negotiate handing over or making available to him whatever technique he has.
6 hours later, you are closing up work for the day. You receive the following objects delivered by a series of transport vehicles. You receive 13, which is a baker's dozen of Void Crisp biscuits. They're biscuits, and when I say biscuit, I mean the British style of biscuit, so it's like a dessert.
Yeah,
kind of. So it's a cookie.
You receive
it's a cookie, yeah.
13 quarts of quintessential liqueur with a E with a fancy mark on the end of it.
So quarts of what? Sorry, of
quintessential liqueur. It is a local specialty. And you receive 33,000 Macarian solars.
Who are these from?
They are from Mihal. It's payment.
This is the payment that was agreed
Pops
upon. Okay.
Has added paprika to more bodies and sent it to him.
Oh, all right.
I believe we have a basketball game to get to.
No, we have a book
away.
burning.
Oh,
we have a book burning to get to.
That's it. The book burning.
Okay. Well,
And
we're going to go on break before we have a good old-fashioned book burning here. When we return, we're going to head on down, have some fun with Father Firebrand. Woo-wee! I don't know why I went super southern there. I apologize.
He sounded like Mr. Poopy Pants.
Who the hell is Mr. Poopy Pants?
I mean,
that's right. I mean, I know who it is, but what made it funnier was that he doesn't know.
Rick and Morty. He's a character on the Rick and Morty show.
I'm stopping the recording now. We're going on break. My name is Rafal Mirage. This time last year, I knew cats couldn't fly. That's all I knew about them. Now, I'm a lieutenant with a commission in the 226th Rough Rider Company of the 19th Iron Guardians. I fly on the back of a space cat. Life is suffering your duties, from which there is no honorable escape. Why not suffer together with the Imperial Guard? Enlist now, and we can protect your family from any accidents. These things happen on the archipelago all the time. Be broken and reforged into the man we want you to be in the Imperial Guard. Guys, I know it feels like it's Kim Possible, but we're actually back for the third.
Segmentum tertiary? Tertium?
Tertius.
Tertius, there you go.
What do you want to do? It sounds like Velamris was considering data delving this mysterious woman, this black magic woman.
It does not sound like stalkery at all.
If we have time before the book burning, I wouldn't mind trying to find out what use Void Crisp biscuits and quintessential E-Cord have.
Well, quintessential liqueur is a liqueur that you can drink.
Oh, liquor. Okay.
Liqueur, yes. As I said, it was liquor with a fancy E with a accent mark on it. Liquore with an accent mark on it.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
And the E is also fancy.
Yeah.
Void Crisp biscuit is a biscuit.
Yeah. So these are not like, prescribed items as far as I can tell.
The Void Crisp biscuit is of questionable nature. It's the sort of thing a noble might enjoy as long as the Inquisition was looking the other way. It's a food item that is not imperially sanctioned.
Okay. So if you planted on somebody and they then got searched, it could be compromising.
Sure. Would you like to know what 33,000 32,000 Macarian solars is like? Because
$33,000.
it shows up in one solar denominations in things like the Camp Todo from Star Wars, which is why they needed multiple trucks to deliver it.
My sister used to work at like one of the ski fields in Australia, and this is going back now like 20 years ago. She rang us up one night and said she was working in the cash office and she was counting up the day's cash, and she just finished counting to $1 million. She said, "I'm now looking at $1 million cash." So I guess not people do it very often.
$1 million cash. It fits very easily in a briefcase as long as you're using $50 bills. If you're using $1 bills, you're going to need a lot of briefcases.
Yeah.
I guess while other people are doing other things before the book burning, Rassie is just sitting quietly. Not like part of Rassie's mind is thinking about what to do about the Lord Colonel, but is also disturbed by Velamris's earlier comments and the weird frost circle. Not quite sure what to think about it.
You want to say something to Liturgical?
Do you want to say something to Velamris?
He doesn't want to say anything to Liturgical. He doesn't know why Liturgical doesn't like him.
Would Velamris know?
Doesn't want to piss off his boss any more than his existence apparently already does.
Would Velamris know anything about? I feel like I probably wouldn't, but would he know anything about like blanks or like I don't know. Me personally, I don't know a lot about psychic stuff in 40K. I know it's kind of crazy.
I think that's
and
probably
whatnot,
way outside your pay grade to know about that kind of stuff.
Right. Like
this is kind of forbidden
maybe,
knowledge. I think the idea that there are soulless individuals is pretty well known, like people who should be driven out, because I believe it's mentioned that a lot of blanks are just summarily executed by their neighbors for being different before the Inquisition can pick them up and turn them into super soldiers.
Because I think Velamris is getting some sort of feel that Rassie, once he saw the lack of psychic activity around Rassie in particular, he's picking something of that up, but he doesn't know what he's seeing, if that makes any sense. He also wouldn't bring it up unless Rassie said something to him first, of course.
Fantastic. I love that you won't bring it up at all. You're like, I have a problem, but I don't want to solve it.
He's Darryl Wilson. We'll talk about later.
Oh my god.
Are there any psychers in the trading house?
Yeah.
Liturgical.
Liturgical.
Plenty,
I mean, Liturgical's a navigator,
there's
right?
one. It's Liturgical.
No,
Liturgical's a psyker.
Oh, okay. Is he the only one?
He just sent a psionic message a couple minutes ago.
Is he the only one?
He is the only one that you know of. Would you like to ask him for a list of psyker employees?
No.
Kain, desperately avoiding managing up in any way he can. Nothing that would involve a dice roll.
No, I don't mind failing dice rolls.
He goes to the company
really
directory and looks for the psyker department.
If Liturgical's the only psyker that Rassie knows about, then yeah, I guess Rassie will go try to talk to Liturgical.
All right. You surprise him when you're forced to wake him up because just standing near him does not appear to wake him up. And he goes, "Who's there? Rassie?"
It's Rassie, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What's wrong with you? This is the first time you've approached me.
I have a question I'm not entirely sure how to ask.
The answer is baking soda, sodium bicarbonate.
I'm not sure what that is, sir.
You wanted to know why my robes always look so clean.
No, but they do always look very clean.
Thank you. I make a big effort out of it.
Earlier when you sent a message, there was
yes, I know. You're
frost?
a psionic blank. You're a null. The immaterium cannot affect you. I cannot see you with my blind eyes. In a just world, it would have been noticed a long time ago, and you would have been taken to fulfill your purpose in life. And in an
what?
earlier edition, you might have been captured by our enemies and turned into some sort of evil Necron weapon, but we don't talk about that anymore because it's not canon anymore in this edition, but it might be in the future. So
I what? I don't understand.
you have no soul, Rassie. Your very presence is upsetting to those around you, and my powers are unable to affect you. I cannot foresee your future. I can't tell your fate. I cannot lift you with my mind, or that in my portfolio of powers, but that is not to say that you cannot be affected by the Immaterium. While I cannot simply lift you, I could lift something you were standing on, to be clear. And while I might not be able to push you with my mind, I could certainly throw a pencil into the air and drive it through your eye. So do not think that you are immune in any way from harm or danger from the Immaterium. You are simply a exceptionally stealthy predator to those who are like me.
I've never heard of any of this before.
It is not for you to know. You should have been sorted out when you were a guardsman. Somewhere along the line, that process has failed. And it happens. Have you ever felt, Rassie, that people around you avoid you or don't like you or in general treat you like trash because you don't have a soul? You emanate an aura of discomfort around you that those who are not like me can sense.
I don't have a soul.
You don't have a soul. When you die, you do not go into the Immaterium and join the rest of humanity in the embrace of the God Emperor. You will simply cease to exist. You are a weapon that the Imperium should be using to its fullest extent. It is said that the God Emperor created people like you. Holes from the Materium. There's a plan.
I'm not sure what to think about any of this.
Well,
is there anything I should be doing or not doing? I don't.
Yes. Sit down. He puts his hand on top of your hand and guides you to sit down.
Yeah, seat.
He looks at you from his office desk to Holly's office desk that you're sitting at, because he would never... Your desk is not directly across from him or adjacent to him because he doesn't like you. But he sits you at Holly's desk and he holds your hand and he says, what you should be doing is this. And he lets go of your hand and he holds up a chalkboard that everything you discussed this morning is on it. And he says, this is what you should be doing. Your fucking job.
Okay.
Any other questions? It would be wise not to talk to anyone about this. This sort of information is restricted at the highest levels. People who know about it from you may be killed simply for knowing.
So if I have more questions about this, is this a conversation we could have, or should I not
This
speak
is
to you
the
about
full
it?
extent of what I know about people like you, Arias. You know, I'm by no means an expert in this field. I'm a communications specialist.
Do you know of anyone I could ask questions to?
Oh God, Emperor, I don't know. I'll put in a request with the Lord Trader and see if we can requisition someone to soothe your troubled mind. How about that? We'll call it a mental health consultation.
Or is this program?
I'm not trying to be a burden. I'm just...
Yeah, I understand. You're figuring out who you are. I know. It can be tough to learn that you don't have a soul. Imagine learning that souls are real and you can see them leaving people's bodies. That's pretty bad.
Can you see that?
He stares at you with a blindfold on, and his face is completely impassive.
I thank you for your time, liturgical.
He holds the chalkboard in his left hand, and in his right hand he taps on it. It says right here, these are your priorities. You have a job to do.
I'll go talk to the others, make sure I'm helping.
He begins filling out a form in triplicate for a mental health consultation with a specialist in null science.
Nullology.
Nullology.
No.
It's going to require multi-department composition. He's definitely got to consult with the Sisters of Silence, the Inquisition, probably the Telepathica as well. Personal permission from a High Lord of Terra.
It's gonna take months just to get
And he
it all
has to
put
hide
together.
it from is it the Vindicare assassins that use nulls? I feel like one of the temples.
Colexus.
Yeah, he's got to do all that and hide it from that particular temple. So he's like, well, there went my month.
Yeah, so Rassie stands up to leave, and thank you again, liturgical, and I guess I'm sorry as well. I'm going to get back to work.
Liturgical
Rassie
continues to work.
By sleeping.
Rassie.
I'm going to go find the sister.
Okay.
She's calling her name. She's standing just a few feet away from you.
Yeah.
Rassie, your whole life is crashing down. You hear tinnitus buzz in your ear. You turn to see Holly saying Rassie right next to you over and over again.
Yep. You had the 1,000-yard stare going for sure.
He just like looks around a little disoriented. Sister.
Yeah. So I'm sort of like, I want to walk and talk in the corridor, so we have this conversation not in front of the two.
Aaron Sorkining, yes, I know about this.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. I'll jog up to catch up.
What I said before, by the way, about whether you were actually interested in using the 5 minutes with the Lord Solar, I wasn't joking, by the way. Like, my expectation here is that we have a bunch of things we need to use to get what the Rogue Trader needs. And if we don't use them to get what the Rogue Trader needs, we can either hand them back or we can use them for pursuing our own ends. So, but I was just going to say, I wouldn't suggest that we use that time with the Lord Sector until we know we don't need it to fulfill our other objectives. But if we don't use it, then if you think that you can square this away in front of the Lord Solar, then try the Lord Sector, then be my guest.
There's a lot to think about differently here, and I guess it's the idea of doing things to help to benefit the Rogue Trader makes perfect sense to me. This new world of being able to advance our own interests as long as they don't interfere in our duty, that's kind of fairly new to me.
So here's a question for you. What do you expect will happen once you've completed your time with the Rogue Trader? Like my order sent me here with a mission, and the idea would be that once I complete the mission, that I would go back to that order. But I mean, does the Colonel's offer actually give you any succor in terms of what you want to do? Do you want your unit to be reconstituted and to return to the line?
I think before, whatever orders we received, however best we could serve as guardsmen, is what I volunteered for. I don't know if you realize this, but all Elysian drop troopers are volunteers. We asked to leave our homeworld for the Emperor. But now that I'm here and learning so many different things, I guess I'd never really considered that there were other ways to support the Emperor, and I don't know. I guess at the end of the year, the terms of the assignment of the 143rd would expire without any effort to make it perpetual. And if we left without any sort of resolution, I suppose we would walk off a trading house ship and be executed if what the Lord Colonel says is to be trusted.
So let me tell you what I want, and maybe that'll help you work out perspective of what you want. When I lived in the convent, I had three things in my room. I had a pallet for a bed filled with straw. I had a wash basin, and I had a shrine. Now, I have a bed here. It's more comfortable. I have a wash basin. I have a coffee machine, or recap machine. I have a refrigerator. I have a place to sit and read. Right. My life is actually better here than it was in the convent. And as long as I can keep doing what I was made to do, I'd rather keep doing it in the service of this rogue trader. So I intend to impress upon Liturgical and Lord Darkwind that my services are best retained even beyond the scope of this year's service. Perhaps my services as a famulus will be a benefit to his family going forward, or at least that's what I hope to prove. You need to decide whether you're better off here or you're better off out there. Because if those two goals are conflicting with each other, you're going to end up going around in circles, and suddenly the time will come when you won't know what's going to happen to you, and you have to throw your fate to the wind.
I'm not used to asking questions, sister. I do appreciate the advice, and I do have to start to think differently now. Not just for me, but for the others as well.
All right, go ahead and talk.
Does it... I know that I annoy Liturgical in some way. Do I annoy you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I mean, everybody does.
Jesus, I feel seen.
Yeah, Rassie doesn't look surprised, but it's just okay.
Yeah, yeah. I pat him on the shoulder. I'm just good at faking being nice.
Well, you're certainly talented. And you've already been, well, hopefully I can find my own stride to be as helpful here as you've been so far.
That's what we're here for, is to help.
Well, is there something that I can help with right now?
No. I mean, I'm just going to go get ready for this book burning. I was going to wear my best burning robes.
Is there anything that I should bring or be prepared to do?
Fervent zealotry, maybe?
I can do that.
Look, I should say, I'm hoping to find out more about this Father Firebrand as well tonight. So if we do get split up and you are talking with the crowd, along with chanting hymnals to the God Emperor, please, if the opportunity presents itself to find out more about Father Firebrand, that would be beneficial.
Absolutely. Thank you for the talk, sister.
Thank you. I'm going to go and
Star
wash
Wars
off the funk
wiping
of that Space Hulk. Sure.
We cut to the three of you approaching the simulated darkness. All of the shift lights have been turned down. You can see that there's a small fire being stoked, and the streets here and the square on floor 30 have been blocked off to allow for this. And you can see that RBTs and PDFs have been deployed just to keep order. Hundreds of people have gathered, and as you go in, you are greeted by a member of the Imperial cult as someone nearby sits on a stool and uses an acoustic guitar to play Wonderwall. When you arrive, the cultist who greets you says, "Oh, hello. I haven't seen you all here before. Is this your first book burning?"
My first one this week on the station.
Oh,
but
yes. We had a great one last week as well. Did you bring your own books, or would you like for us to provide one of the forbidden tomes?
Well, I didn't bring any books to burn. I'm happy to pull from the pile, so to speak, to add to the pyre. But
Sure. So they hand you a book that's been, you can't open it without, it's been bound. It says, "My Life in Another World Not Serving the God Emperor," and she hands it to you.
I hold it like it's something dirty.
Yeah, it is something dirty. She looks appreciative when you do that. Velamris, they hand you just some sort of, it's like Clifford the Big Red Grox, and on the front cover it's got a human and an Eldar holding hands in front of a half-human, half-Eldar child who has a large, giant red Grox in the front yard of the home that they share together.
Absolutely abysmal. I will be happy to burn this.
Have you seen Arthur Clifford the Big Red God?
No.
So there was a series of like classic children's books that were redone as Cthulhu tales. So there was where the deep ones are, Clifford the Big Red God, and the Polar Expedition Express were the three books that they were done the same art style and same writing style as the original children's books, but with a Cthulhu bent to them.
That's amazing.
She hands you a unbound copy of The Right Side of History by Ben Shapiro, Rassie, but then she takes it back and says, "Oh, sorry, this is from my personal collection. This isn't one of the ones getting destroyed." She hands you a Imperial you like that one? She hands you a Imperial primer that says Blood Pact on the front that's been written in blood.
Yeah. No, Rassie's motivated to burn this. There's no easy. There's no, yeah.
I think Velamris is going to look over like, which one did you get? I think this one, you would really love this one. And it show him the cover of the Xenos relationship and the half Xeno child.
But for the Big Red Grox?
Yeah.
Who are you showing it to, sorry?
To Rassie, because I know how much he hates Xenos. You want to burn this one? You want to trade?
No, this one I will find joy in burning.
Okay. I'm more than happy to burn either one. I just figured maybe you would like this one more. I don't know. What'd you get? Blood Pack?
Don't concern yourself with it if you don't know.
Okay.
Just know that it will be burned and it will be joyous.
I'm all about it.
You assemble yourselves perfectly. As we know, Warhammer 40K is a British universe, and so you line up
There it
in
is.
perfect rows, in order, in companies of
We're
100.
queuing.
All of you queue.
I feel like this is the perfect environment for soccer hooliganry, though. So
Only once it gets going. People stand in place. They talk to their neighbors quietly. They look at the fire that's being stoked, and they're looking over their books, and they're like, "Well, what did you get?" And they're like, "Oh, that's way more heretical than me. You should be proud of yourself. They must have seen something in you." Somebody else nearby is just like, "Oh, that Father Firebrand, can't wait to hear him talk. You know, he really has a way with words, you know." He elbows you, Velamris, and says, "Say, who's that fella with you? I get a weird, funny feeling in my stomach when I look at him." He points at Rassie.
Oh, wow. I think Velamris would just be like, yeah, that's one of my coworkers, Rassie.
"Oh, yeah, is there's something wrong with him? He seems like
No.
maybe he doesn't belong here."
No, he's a pretty good guy.
"Okay, I'll take your word for it, partner. What'd you get, by the way?"
Oh, I got this Clifford the Big Red Grox. Oh my God, this is horrible. Like, look at this. Look at this artwork.
Abomination on the front.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think
Hate that.
I think I said abysmal, but close enough.
I got a cookbook.
A cookbook. Oh, I don't even want to know what's being cooked in there.
Oh, I bet it's probably void crisp biscuits, you know?
Is it just to serve man?
Was it written by somebody named him? I'm not saying that in character.
No.
I'd like to talk to someone in the crowd too, Arthur.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I have to imagine Rassie's in the middle then. So on the other side, you're speaking to like a 12-year-old boy who is, instead of holding a book, he's just holding a evil item. It's like a little doll of a little Eldar child, but it's been covered in like prescribed red tape. And he's just like, "Are you a sister?"
Yes, I am. Are you here with your parents or?
"No, I came alone." I often question whether my parents are faithful enough to attend this event.
If you have to ask the question, you already know the answer.
Should I say something to someone?
I mean, you can go to. Do you go to church, or do you go to? Is there any preachers that you see?
I see Father Firebrand as often as I can. He speaks to me as a 12-year-old boy. He says things that sound good, and I like them.
I've heard that his sermons are full of the Emperor's faith.
Yeah. He says that we should not be in the sort of relationships that people get into with lots of biology happening between them, that we should stay strong. Our minds are fortresses. Our enemies are weak, but also strong enough to overthrow us. But we're very strong, and one day I'm going to grow up to be strong too. Because I was born human. I'm better than all of the other xenos here. And he's like crunching the little Eldar doll and starting to pull it apart. Don't you think so?
Yeah, definitely. Where do you normally go to see the father?
Oh, I go to his services. They're here on floor 30. We don't normally do them out here like this. Only the book burnings.
And do you know, because so do you live at home or on the streets? Or?
Let me give you my home address so that you know where my parents are. 8675-309 Bell End Lane.
Do you happen to know if the rumors are true?
Which rumors?
That a lot of the books that we're burning here were being moved by a gang called the Tunnel Snakes.
I hadn't heard that rumor. And somebody nearby goes, "Did you say the Tunnel Snakes provided these books?"
I thought someone over there, like I pointed in the direction of people that like leaving or have already burned the books. I thought I heard someone else saying that.
Shapes. Incredible. I want to
nice.
roll. I want to roll. It's probably a rapport roll, deception, specialization.
Yeah. All right. Well,
what?
It's my first time meeting this crowd. So
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
The line has been drawn here.
all right. Okay. Well,
This crowd is not a single entity.
all right. I will faith this one though, because this seems like the right moment for faith.
Yeah, it definitely does. What an ass pull here. Unbelievable.
Hey.
A 3.
That's amazing. Wow.
You point to somebody and it begins spreading through the crowd quickly that these books were someone heard from somebody else that they came from the Tunnel Snakes, a gang of thugs, and it spreads quickly, and now the word Tunnel Snakes is on everybody's lips.
We're on the 30th floor right now?
Yep.
Isn't that also like their turf?
They operate at the very top, I think.
Okay. Because I thought they were on like level 30 or something.
Don't worry. What James has done here is going to lead to some real fucked up shit for sure.
It transcends levels. It's fine.
No one's going to look at the floor.
James has essentially solved a
here.
problem for you real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father Firebrand comes onto stage.
Rassie was going to try to move around and talk to people too.
Oh, wait. Are you going to leave your position and go talk to people?
That's how soccer riots start.
Yeah. All right. You tell me. Where do you want to go and who do you want to talk to?
But he's not trying to cause any problems, but he wants to try to talk to the people around him and ask, like, I haven't been to one of these on the station before. I'm really looking forward to hearing and doing and all of that. But who's going to speak?
So the person standing directly behind you is just like, I'm sorry. Are you from around here?
I'm a very
just giving me
arrival.
bad vibes is all I'm saying.
I'm a recent arrival.
Okay. All right, so an outsider. Okay. But you do have faith in the God Emperor, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're human?
Yes.
You can prove that.
What would you like to see?
Okay. I like that answer. Father Firebrand is speaking here tonight.
I haven't heard of Father Firebrand yet.
Oh, he's a well-known local firebrand. Sort of a nickname, really. He helps reignite the faith. This is part of his revival movement. We do a lot of different social activities. He gestures to two children on either side of him. I bring my kids to all of these things, you know. We talk about a lot of issues: evolutionary biology, the superiority of mankind, biological determinism, that sort of thing. Nihilism and why it's bad.
Interesting. I'm really looking forward to hear what he has to say today.
My friend, that's exactly the wrong response. What you should be saying is, my mind is a closed fortress, and no new ideas can get into it. You know what Father Firebrand says? You were born the perfect imperial citizen, and everything you learn after birth can only tear you down. Your mind is a fortress, and you have to protect it from our enemies.
Anyone studying Freud, classic example right there.
If I said the perfect British citizen, it would have meant more.
Yeah, all right. I mean, Rassie's excited and interested. Doesn't think he's good. He wants to ask more questions, but he has no idea what any of that meant. So he's not sure how he can help the sister by asking. He doesn't even know what evolution means. He's never heard the word before.
But that's good, though, because ignorance is bliss.
Father Firebrand arrives. He is wearing loose robes. He's got kind of like a stole. He's got token icons and emblems of the Imperial faith that you might expect from a cultist, but not like covered with it. And he's got a acoustic guitar where each of the tuning heads is a silver skull. Really? I just said acoustic guitar. You started laughing.
No, because
Wonderwall. I'm waiting for Wonderwall to drop.
He pulls up a stool and sits on it and says, "Hey, y'all. How you doing tonight? Great to see you again." People are just like cheering and shouting, "Father Firebrand!" He's like, "Hey, look. I know. The world is out to get you. Somebody once told me the world was going to roll me and that I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed." And then he just starts playing a song that I can't parody any more than 5 seconds of. And everybody else here knows the lyrics to it and is going back and forth to it.
Hey now.
No. Yes.
You've already been demonetized. This shouldn't matter.
Does it count if each of us does a different 5 seconds?
No. Hey, guys. I just want to sit down and talk to you for a second. I want to spit some fire at you. Let's talk about mental illness. There are some people that aren't like us. They think differently. They look differently. They're born differently. And they're bad. And we're right to set them on fire. Now, all of you have brought in an object of their alien thinking. In order to protect ourselves, we offer symbols to the God Emperor. And as they burn away, we burn away the sins of the alien from this world, from all worlds. So what we're doing isn't just an act of faith, it's an act of protection from your mind. Those things that weigh you down inside your mind, gotta let them go. Gotta let them go. Some people might say, is it wrong to throw stones at an old woman just because she's not an imperial citizen? Let that go. She is bad, and we are good. You're good because you're here. You chose to be here tonight, and that makes you good. And people are just like, woo, I'm good. And like people are clapping each other on the back. Somebody's shaking you, Rassie, and you're like, you're good, man. Believe it in your heart. I can feel it in me. Can you feel it in you?
Yeah, I think Rassie's getting into this, especially after the conversation earlier today. Like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm great.
Tonight is a night that I'm going to announce next week, a week of killings. Every day, I'll be asking for an Imperial citizen to perform at least one killing of an outsider, whether they are a criminal, a xenos, something else, anyone that doesn't belong here among our community should be killed. And those who do the killing will be venerated above all others. Now, let's all raise our tokens together and chant hate as we walk in a queue and drop those objects in the fire. And people begin raising their books and going, hate, 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 as they walk past and throw their items into the fire. Hundreds of people chanting it at the same time.
A hate speech, if you will.
I didn't hear what you said. You're too far back.
Hate speech, if you will.
Yeah, hate speech.
Yeah, hate speech. Yeah, exactly. Wow. We just got flagged on YouTube again. This is a rough episode, guys. It's a rough episode. And that's the end of this particular episode.
We close on hate. Hate.
Yeah.
Hate.
Yeah. It's a lighter episode for 40K.
Unbelievable. Let's see here.
The good news is that hate leads to suffering. So
wow.
There's gonna be some suffering. Tunnel snake drop.
I'm really looking forward to watching what happens after Holly's comments.
I think
It's
tunnel
gonna get
snakes might
nuts.
just disappear.
But they rule.
Not much longer.
They're the tunnel snakes. I don't know that I'd call this a successful mission completion. So I'm going to offer you 50 experience points. James said in chat, he's preaching what we're all thinking.
Is there a pencil over there?
How are we for next week?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, I saw gestures, so I'm going to say we're good.
I'm good.
Yep.
I don't think anybody I work with watches the show, but I will definitely say that I many times have started the rumor at work by saying I've heard of rumor at work in order to affect change.
I thought that's how rumors started. It was just one or two people casually saying things offhandedly, like,
Yeah, normally someone who's really catty says some shit like that, and then they can say, I heard it from someone else to guard themselves from the problem.
Yeah.
What was the Umbrella Academy where the power was, I heard a rumor?
Yeah, that's right.
This is that power. The power to do evil. Next time we're going to sit down and have a private conversation with Father Firebrand. Figure out what's going on there. But so far, this ceremony seems completely legitimate. It's everything you would have expected out of a Imperial cult faith meeting. Maybe a little bit more fire than normal.
more fire, less brand.
So where was it we were, by the way, that people were chanting blood for the Golden Throne, skulls for the Emperor?
That
Where
was
that again?
that was members of this cult that attended the Imperium holiday for Lord Macarius Solar.
It was these people, right?
Yeah, it was these people. It's your neighbors around you. You're surrounded on all sides by people who feel motivated to say blood for the God Emperor, skulls for the Golden Throne.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're among friends and faithful here. You've never felt more connected with your community than when you march in a line chanting faith towards a giant fire and throw stuff in it.
Yeah.
Chanting hate.
This group, though, is not the Orthodox group of...
No, this is not the official cult. This is a...
That's the word.
This is a rabble.
It's a faith revival.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this stuff happens on all Imperial worlds. People who are really faithful that want a little bit more zealotry than the regular church get together.
Yeah.
Community meetings where they burn stuff and talk about how much they hate people.
It's almost like if the
Planning
church
murder.
won't tell me that my neighbor is the source of my problems, then I should find someone that will.
Hey, I see you understand the assignment. Just remember, next week is mass killing week.
And
Out of character. It's in character. In character.
data delving for curvaceous redheads as well.
Top of Omar's list, data delving for curvaceous redheads. Now he's gonna, he's just gonna Google curvaceous redheads tonight and be like, I'm just doing research for Warhammer 40K. I just want to be able to visualize whatever Arthur's describing.
So I feel like if we
It's
can
really
just survive,
stretching the theater of the mind. I need some
we can
inspiration to understand.
if we can survive the fail safes
Inspiration.
one more week until mass killing week, that problem might take care of itself.
Yeah, I'd say it might. There's a pretty high probability based on what you did here. The words tunnel snakes and mass killing week are going hand in hand, man.
I'll tell you what, out of the three of us, one of us is taking to working for a rogue trader much faster, more effectively than the other two.
By the end of this, James is going to be a rogue trader. He'll have bought the title off of someone.
Well, that would make Rassie the arch-militant.
Listen, we don't need traditional titles to tie us down. At our workplace, what we do is everyone just picks a new desk every morning.
Jeez.
We're like Valve.
We're about creating a new paradigm.
New paradigm. Yeah, we have to shift the window of expectation to see what we're looking for. We need to move the window. Some people say there are two sides to every option, but I walk a third path between the other two.
That's right.
But it's new and fresh.
We only sell the blue warp. We don't stay away from the red warp where everyone else trades.
The red warp?
You never heard Blue Ocean, Red Ocean?
No.
Okay.
We
a business
rebranded.
concept.
It used to be a red flag, but now it's a blue flag.
It's a business concept that, like, the Red Ocean is where everybody else trades, and so therefore the water's bloody with all the sunken ships. But if you can find the Blue Ocean when you're out on your own, yeah.
I saw a video earlier today or late last night where the ocean is a soup.
Yeah.
And they were like, well,
It's a
wait, that
salty
doesn't make
soup.
sense.
Salty
Well, it's
pasta
a
water.
soup. What do you put in a soup? You know, you've got water, you've got salt, you've got fruit or meat and vegetables, and
A lot
the
of dead
realization,
people. Yeah.
and the realization kicks in is like, oh my God, the ocean is a soup.
Yeah. What do you think all the dead fish shit at the bottom of the ocean's doing?
Feeding other fish, I would imagine.
Not a lot of fish survive at the bottom of the ocean.
Well,
Most of them that do are predators.
Yeah, and there's other things that feed off of that at the bottom of the ocean too. So.
Sure. They all look weird as hell.
I did like a meme the other day that had like a bunch of fish around a boardroom table, and as they're talking, there's like one of those like the anglerfish with the light over their head, and everyone keeps going, "Oh, do you have an idea, Steve?" Because he's got the light above his head. But no, I'm fine.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How? I'm trying to figure out at what point and what I have to do to spend the points to get the specialty in linguistics for Rassie to have learned High Gothic.
I mean, if you have the
100
XP
points,
for
man.
it, we can say you've been picking up on it so far.
Okay.
As long as you've got one advance in linguistics, you can know High Gothic.
Because you can't have more
I
specialties
thought
when you have
I-
advancements, right? Is that how that works?
No, you can do especially without advancements.
Okay.
But there is no High Gothic specialty for linguistics.
It looks like, I mean, I'm in the rulebook right now and I see
I
a
mean,
specialization for High Gothic.
oh, sorry, okay. Well, I think that. Yes.
Everyone knows Low Gothic.
I'm opening the skills page now.
I'm on page 95.
Yeah, that sounds right. Linguistics, High Gothic is its own specialization. Yes. So if you can pick up that specialization, we will assume you've learned enough High Gothic over the last few weeks to have become fluent. You will pass someone and they will go, Nihongo Jozu. That's a Japanese joke. Don't worry about it. I'm alone in this.
Well, speaking of things you might be alone in, maybe Rassie takes this 5 minutes with the Lord Colonel, or no, with the Lord Governor, and just wants to sit down and have a beer.
Okay, well, communicating with him remotely for 5 minutes and going to the exact opposite side of the sector and back over the course of weeks to months are two very different things.
It's a specific reference.
Okay.
Maybe they do it, not in place, but he's like, we'll just drink beer at the same time.
Yeah, you'll get a pull tab beer and he'll get something that was, laid down
Poured into a
in
mug.
the age of his father. Poured from a cask made out of pure vanilla wood.
Stored in a cool, dark place.
Okay, well, that's just basically any alcohol.
Well, yeah.
You just...
But
I'm like, what will make it sound fancy? And you're like, what will make it sound realistic?
But, well, the fancy part is guarded by,
An
Imperial
Adeptus
troopers.
Custodes has guarded this ale since it was first laid down by my grandfather. He had
Yes, there you
foreseen
go.
in a psychic vision that it would be of use to me personally one day. And as I sip at this, I see he has departed for Terra once more. I have known him my whole life, and I will never see him again. His watch is done.
His watch has ended.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap up this meme fest?
Hashtag demonetization. I couldn't even say it quite right.
Demonetized is definitely going to be the name of this episode. There's no doubt in my mind. But I'm thinking of emphasizing the word demon in demonetized, just like a foreshadowing.
You do it spell like demon in 40K, so it's
Oh,
DAEM.
that's good.
Yeah.
I'll
there
probably
you
do
go.
that one. Yeah.
There you go.
Demonetized. Perfect. I love the idea that Rassie's like, can you see people's souls leaving their body? And we just cut to like what liturgical can see, like someone being shot outside the building and their soul is being drawn from their body. They're like, "Whoa, God Emperor, where am I going?" They're drawn to an incredibly distant sun in the massive warp space where demons are just walking around. And he's like, yes, Rassie, I can see people's souls leaving their body.
Well, I mean, if Rassie's right next to me, you shouldn't see anything at that point in time.
Well, you can't see Rassie.
No,
Or
but
anything around Rassie.
they lose when they're in the presence of a blank. They lose their sight.
All right. Well,
Entirely, yeah.
okay. You're making it harder for me to do my thing, but all right. You've killed me
Maybe
now.
Rassie's blank radius is significantly smaller than
No,
normal.
it's the same as normal.
Okay.
Rassie's just your normal average girl. Sorry, I've been listening to the Kim Possible theme on repeat, and that's one of the lyrics.
Well, now, yeah, Rassie's got some problems now.
Now you know what AP listens to while playing Helldivers 2.
Yeah, I've listened
Kim
to
Possible.
Amelie's cover of Kim Possible theme that released 2 days ago. Yeah. I also listened to the soundtrack from Helldivers 2, A Cup of Liberty, which is the song that plays when you drop out of your dropship. Sorry, your Super Destroyer.
Yeah, I think I got it this morning and turned on Discord, and there were like 8 people on the server in voice chat. I'm like, okay, this is
It's taking over.
Yep. It's another what was the game you play where you're trying to stop the asteroid again? Eco.
Oh, Eco?
So it's Eco all over again.
It's not Eco all over again, okay? I played for 2.5 hours today, and I was like, all right, well, Henley, I've played for 2.5 hours today. And he's like, oh, you've only played for 2.5 hours? Well, you can leave then. And I was like, what the hell, man? I played for 2.5 hours. I want to take a break. Don't try to shame me. I'm
saw
sorry I
Henry's name.
can't game like back in the day. I'm old now, and I got errands to run.
I saw Henley's name in Discord and I was like, oh, look, a Henley sighting.
Yeah, well, he's a big Helldivers fan. There's a 50-50 chance if I open my Steam friend list right now, Henley is currently playing. Survey says I was wrong.
Wasn't it like
that happens sometimes?
No, the odd you only declared the odds. The fact that you were not doing it didn't mean you were wrong. It just meant that you rolled 1 on a D2. That was it. Speaking of which, I had the worst fucking game of Warhammer yesterday. I played a game against my mate. I was playing Sisters versus Orcs. And I got absolutely destroyed because of dice rolling. My favorite part was rolling 4d6 damage and getting 5 damage.
Oof.
Wow. Yeah. That's some real Shadowrun behavior right there.
Yeah.
I know that pain.
Okay. Friends, we'll be back next week. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to a madman, prophet, a legend, and a youth pastor.